all the scores from all the games.
Let's go!
And you'll hear from all of the head coaches around the area.
1, 2, 3.
The New Way Ford Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Feldfire, Culver's, Next Gen Chiropractic, Quant Auto Salvage, New Way Auto Group, Outlaw Graphics, Gatorade, Des Moines Area Community College, DMAC, Mackey Motors, and Pizza Ranch.
We did it our way, baby! We did it!
Now let's get to the scores from this week in high school football.
Welcome to the New Way Auto Ford Scoreboard Show. Mason Nealon here with Jeff Honnold. A couple of scores from a couple districts here. First one, Class 3A District 1, Carroll going to defeat Greene County 34-21. Unity Christian drops one to MOC Floyd Valley 22-18. Bishop Heelan defeats Kemper 32-14. Western Christian defeating Boyden Hull Rock Valley 21-14. Sergeant Bluff Luton defeating Lamar's in overtime 21-15. That one, if you looked at the score or at the scoreboard on that one, you know it was 15-0 in the fourth. Lamar's came back 15 unanswered in the fourth, and then ultimately dropped that one 21-15. And then West Lyon defeating Sioux Center 35-7.
Hey, week one, we're in the books here. So we're on Class 2A District 8. Bishop Heelan defeats Kemper 32-14. It was Roland Story blanking South Tama 47-0. Des Moines Christian 56, Pella Christian 0. Still trying to find the final on the Storm Lake. Sadell Storm Lake was leading that one. Again, Carroll wins 34-21 over Greene County. Still looking for the Manson, Northwest Webster, Southeast Valley score.
Then we move over to Class 1A District 2. You had IKM Manning 49 over ESAC 34. Then you go over and a close one here between Emmitsburg and Central Lyon. Emmitsburg getting that one 20-19. Still looking for the Sioux Central and South O'Brien game, as well as the Manson, Northwest Webster, and Southeast Valley. Then we move over to a more closer team here to Carroll. We got South Central Calhoun defeating Pocahontas area 35-12, and then still looking for the Eagle Grove and Clarion Goldfield Dows.
Class A, District 7. Again, South Central Calhoun 35, Pocahontas area 12. Good start for the Titans. East Sac County falls to IKM Manning 49-34. Game closer than that score. It was a really well-played ball game other than a couple drives. Southeast Valley 13, Red Oak 0. It was Earlham 41, Central Decatur 12. Still working on the West Central Valley Panorama score for you. ACGC all over Ogden 40-0, and Riverside pounds on West Monona 68-0.
Now moving to the 8-man District 1 here, Arweva 34-0 shutout against Exira. Remsen St. Mary's a 51-6 final. Booyer Valley 49-0 over Griswold as well. Still looking for the New Alfonda and West Bend Mallard score. GTRA 56-6 over Siouxland Christian, and Woodbine defeating Glidden Ralston in a landslide 58-0 final. And then also at the end here we got East Mills defeating West Harrison 64-26.
And to wrap up our first round of scores here, 8-man District 9. Again, Audubon 38, Caminita 20. Woodbine 58-0 over Glidden Ralston. Colonesco 48-0 over Murray. Springville falls to Baxter 58-49. That was played last week in week 0. Waco and Coon Rapids Bayard play tomorrow afternoon, so pick that game up. That'll be covered by Mr. Blankman. Bishop Garrigan 48-22, and Collins Maxwell 64-0 GMC Garwin. We do have an interview with Coach Moore with Coon Rapids Bayard, so you'll get to hear a little bit about his. But, you know, Casey, as we sit back and look here at week 1, and again, it's week 1, so we don't really care about what happens. But if you think about it, you know, a lot of our schools have done pretty well. You look at Kemper; they're playing up, played right with Heelan. Carroll played a tough game with Greene County. You know, just our area schools looks like we're set up for a pretty good year of football.
Yeah, that Carroll one, you know, it was, I believe, 21-21 in that third quarter for a while, and then Carroll pulled away at the end there. Really run-dominant game from Carroll there. I believe when I last heard, Tayden Peterson had somewhere north of 250 yards rushing. And then kind of the thing that I see or hear most that sticks out is a lot of shutouts. When you look through the board, you see a lot of games where it's a lot of high scoring and then a lot of zeros across the board.
Yeah, and I think you look at that Kemper-Heelan game, that's a good test for that Kemper team. They're playing up a class, doesn't hurt them at all. But they were there, you know, battling with Heelan. the other games that stand out, I really like the idea that South Central Calhoun, Pocahontas area typically is a pretty good ball club. And then you look at ICAM Manning and East Sac, and that game, East Sac I think had a couple turnovers that led to easy scores for ICAM Manning. Otherwise, it was pretty well played game. Listening to them, it sounds like the effort was there. So really good performance there. And then how about Arweva coming out, and handling a usually a pretty good ball club there in Elkhorn. And then you look at Audubon now. The speaker kid blew his knee out in baseball, so their best player is out for Camanita, but still a really good ball club. So that's a good sign there. And then Glidden Ralston, I think you're looking at a rebuild year a little bit, but we always know Woodbine's really good with the prior boys. So you don't know what you're seeing there yet. It could be the Woodbine's just that good, and Glidden Ralston doing a little catch up. But again, great first week. We got football back on. We're good to go, and nice to have you running the studio. I get to sit over here in the cheap seats and just being having fun.
Yeah, I mean, my first year here, I'm just going to be kind of learning the ropes, and then as well as looking into a lot of football, having fun, It's a great one for football.
Yeah, you just want to. The weird thing about these mics, they're not quite like our headsets. You got to kind of eat them a little bit to get these in here. But, yeah, you're doing a great job, and it's nice to have you in here. And I get to pop in and pop out. And I get to kind of be like a Blankman, come in when I feel like it and mess with you. But, you did a great job in the Merchants. I think this is a great fit for you. You're really analytical, so this will really be good with the scores. And we'll try to get more scores, but I'm going to get out of here and let you run the show, and then we'll come back with some more when you're ready for me.
All right, so we'll go to commercials here in just a second. Be right back.
When you buy from a local business, like one of the New Way Auto Group dealerships, the money stays right here in the local community. Supporting local businesses helps our local economy, and that lets us help local organizations, schools, and giving back to our community. Good luck to all players from the New Way Auto Group dealerships with locations in Coon Rapids, Jefferson, and Pocahontas.
For more than 40 years, Culver's has brought you fresh, never frozen deliciousness. And since 2012, we have been proud to serve the Carroll community. From mouth-watering burgers to our one-of-a-kind custards, our goal at Culver's is simple. Satisfy your hunger with the highest quality products delivered to you with a smile. Whether you are a coach, player, or parent, Culver's is the perfect destination to build team spirit. Come celebrate 12 years in Carroll with us.
Culver's, welcome to Delicious.
Outlaw Graphics is your local promotion and sign company. Outlaw can do it all, from vehicle graphics to promotional items and all the signage you need. Outlaw does it all, no matter how big or how small your order is. If you need thousands of items for your business, talk to Outlaw. Work with Outlaw's designers from start to finish. You're going to love the results. Call the Outlaw. Outlaw Graphics, 775-2599. Outlaw Graphics in Carroll.
This is Todd Danner, and this is a New Way Ford Auto Scoreboard show. I'm talking with our Weaver head coach, Austin Stoke, whose Rocket team tonight opened the 2024 football season with a 34-0 shutout. So in the season opener. So Austin, go ahead and tell me about the ball game tonight.
Yeah, Todd. Guys played well, played hard tonight against the HK team that likes to pound the ball down the throat, running the ball offensively. We started out the game in the first quarter. Wyatt Regaler had a 21-yard run for a touchdown. End of the first quarter, the score is 7-0 us in our favor. At halftime, it was 20-0. We had a couple touchdowns. Jonathan Riesemann had a rushing touchdown, and then Johnny had to come in and play some quarterback for us for a while. So he also had a passing touchdown to Wade Regaler. In the third quarter, we scored one more touchdown at 28-0. Was the score at the end of the third quarter. Jonathan Riesemann had a 46-yard pass to Wyatt Regaler in some space. He created and scored a touchdown. And then we scored one more in the fourth quarter. Jonathan Riesemann to Aiden Blackman for a 35-yard kind of scramble pass. So, offensively, we took care of the football. Just had one turnover. We just had a couple penalties. Defensively, though, was definitely the story of the game. We had 8 guys doing their job all night, and we were able to stand our grounds when they got deep in territory sometimes, and our guys did a nice job of holding ground.
Austin, I heard early on in the ball game, your senior quarterback, Blaine Smith, went down with an injury. Can you give me an update on that?
Yeah, just a shoulder injury that we're being precautious with. And Johnny came in, and Johnny played most of the game for us at quarterback, and he did a really nice job of being poised. Xavier plays a cover 2, 3 linebacker zone, and Johnny did a nice job making the correct reads in the passing game. And he just kind of managed the field with a good pocket in front of him. Our lineman did a great job up front, giving him a pocket to throw the football. And we were just efficient enough on offense, and our defense did a really nice job as well.
You talked about Johnny. I mean, is something that you say, okay, if something happens, you're our next guy up. How difficult was it for him to come in and take over like that? Yeah,
it really wasn't in
okay.
his eyes, and it's hard for us as a coaching staff because you got your number one rep taking
right.
so many reps, but and Johnny understands, that's why he took the reps that he did as well.
Uh-huh.
And he's a junior now, and he understands what it takes. And Jonathan Riesemann 2 years ago would have maybe been a little bit nervous stepping in, but Jonathan Riesemann as a junior and as one of our leaders did a nice job stepping in and being efficient at the quarterback position for us.
So, like I said, you had to be really pleased with your defense, like shutting out the Elkhorn, Xavier Elkhorn Kimballton football team. I mean, obviously that was a definitely a nice area for you.
Yeah, I mean, we had 8 guys doing their job most of the night. It was really a team effort. When you break it down on our defensive end, they had the ball with a couple minutes left in the first half. They had 35 yards to go and 3 touchdowns to score the football, and we had them on 4th down, and we had a pass interference penalty, and that got them down deep. They just needed 6 yards to score, and our guys stopped them. And then we had a time in the second half. They broke open a big play. One of their faster kids got on the edge, and Wade Regaller chased him down 40 yards and, ankle tackled him at the 3-yard line, and we ended up getting a stand there. So, it's a bend, don't break mentality, no matter what. If the football is not in the end zone, it's not in the end zone. And our guys took that wholeheartedly tonight.
All right. And also, you talked about how good your defense played tonight, but offensively, you might have mentioned it a little earlier and I missed it, but did you have big plays tonight, or was it just putting drives together?
Yeah, we had a couple big plays. Wyatt Regaller had a 21-yard rush. Jonathan Riesemann had a nice 63-yard rush on an option that he kept. And then another touchdown, a big touchdown play was 46 yards to Wyatt Regaller on a passing touchdown. So, and Johnny was efficient tonight for us, 18 for 21, 203 yards.
Nice.
And then he had 4 rush for 86 yards. And then Wade Regaller did excellent in the backfield, conducting things and having some key lead blocks for us. And then, like I said, our guys up front just did outstanding job tonight.
Okay, awesome. I'd say coming off a season a year ago where you won 5 ball games, expectations were a little higher this year for you with everybody coming back, and so you got to be really pleased with how your team came in the first game tonight.
Yeah, we are really pleased with how we did on week 1. There's some minor things that we know we did wrong once the play is over. Our guys, they look at the sideline and they're nodding their head. They understand, they're understanding what mistakes they're making, and they're not making those mistakes again. So, going forward and watching film, that's kind of the key to our success going forward.
No, obviously, the coaches always hear coaches talk about the biggest improvement is from week 1 to week 2. What are some of the things that you're looking to improve on next week when you play Glidden Ralston, who lost 58-0 tonight to Woodbine?
Yeah, just some simple execution things. We got guys doing, at times we're doing the right things. We're chipping down on our runs, or we're communicating up front. We're just not securing blocks at the next level. A couple reads by our quarterbacks, and our receivers kind of reading a zone and sitting in the zone where they need to. That's just kind of minor stuff that we'll tweak and that we'll see on film. And it's nice to have a group of guys that understands what's going on and they understand the game of football. And they buy into fixing their problems in the next week. So we'll look forward to minor changes like that coming ahead this week.
Sounds good. Well, I'll tell you what, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me tonight, and I look forward to talking to you throughout the season. And congratulations on the win tonight.
Okay, thanks a lot, Todd. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
For high school athletes,
Every practice, every game,
every rep matters. That's why Gatorade is here to keep you at your best. Packed with electrolytes, keeping you hydrated and energized so you can push harder, play longer, and recover faster. On the field, court, or track,
Let's go!
Gatorade gives you the fuel you need to perform at your peak.
no matter the sport, no matter the challenge.
Gatorade, fueling the future of sports, one high school athlete at a time. Feld Security of Carroll is the choice of homeowners and business professionals. They choose Feld Security because of the local and prompt service, 24-hour technician support, and the ability to control their security from their mobile device. That makes keeping your property safe even easier. A professional Feld representative can help you create a protection plan for your home or business. No matter what you're trying to protect, they've got you covered. Feld Security of Carroll proudly supports all our area high school athletes.
Since 1968, Mackey Motors has been serving Lake City and the surrounding communities with new and certified pre-owned vehicles. Mackey Motors is a full-service dealership providing oil changes in our Quick Lube Express bays, a service department with world-class trained technicians, a body shop and collision center with the latest equipment, a full vehicle detailing department, or come talk with one of our highly knowledgeable sales staff.
Recipient of the GM Mark of Excellence Award for 15 years running. Together, let's drive at Mackey Motors in Lake City, MackeyMotors.com.
Yeah.
All right, we're going here. So in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the New Way Forward Scoreboard Show. Jeff Honnold here. Got the pleasure of talking to the man, Coach Moore, down in Coon Rapids Baird, and a rare night off on a Friday night, but all for good. You're going to be playing Saturday at Valley. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, this is the fourth year that we had this game lined up at Valley, and it's kind of grown from the first 2 years. Last year, it turned into a double header type game, and we got a West versus East game with the two. We're playing. We played Turkey Valley last year, and we got Waco this year. So the state allows us to flip our opponents. So that's been nice too.
Yeah, I think this will be the first year I don't make it down there. It kind of feels strange, but really neat showcase there. It started out, I think you guys were playing Glen Ralston, and then last year, really cool event there that the Valley puts on. I think you're part of the painting crew to change the lines and everything, but a really nice job of showcasing this 8-man game that try to get people from the Des Moines area to see it. They don't get to see it very often, but really good football, really good stuff going on down there, and last year you took on a really good Turkey Valley team that when we saw them, we knew they were going to be good, and they ended up making playoffs. But what do you know about this Waco team that you're going to be coming up against?
Yeah, Waco played a week 0 game last week. We had the opportunity to watch that game and then got the film on that. They're really big up front. Their line, they got a 6'7", 300-pound lineman, and then another 6'3", 260-pound lineman, so they got some really good size up front, and then in the backfield they got I think their running back was the 190-pound state champion, 1A last year, and so he's got good speed, and the quarterback's got good speed, and they got another a running back type slot receiver that also has got good wheels. So we're going to have our hands full up front, and then obviously contain them in the backfield.
Well, I love these early contests where you're challenging yourself, because it doesn't really matter. It's all about the district, so this doesn't really hurt you. So you get to challenge, you get to see, your kids get to know right where they're at the beginning of the season. And let's talk about your team a little bit. Typically, you have quite a bit of speed. You have some size. What all do you have coming back this year?
Yeah, in the backfield we have Wyatt and Caden Oswald.
Let's stop there. I know a lot of Oswalds. Where did he get his speed? Because there's not a one of them that has speed. So it has to be coming from mom's side, because they're all slow.
Yeah.
There's not a one of them that were fast.
Yeah, Caden, 8th place finisher in the Open 200 as a freshman. So school record holder in that. So that's really exciting. And then, his brother Wyatt's at quarterback. He anchored, or not anchored, but he led off all our relays at state. So, that tells you what kind of speed those two have. And then Ethan Bauer is in the backfield for us, too. Kid came on really strong last year for us, and then he had a really good wrestling year. So really excited to get him on the field, and he's got a good nose for the ball and likes to mix it up. And then up front, I have my son Tyler, leading that.
He's no small boy. I've seen him around. He's I didn't think he'd grow much more, but he's still getting bigger. He's a big kid.
Yeah, if we can stretch him out, maybe the 6 foot, 6'2", that'd be really nice. But he does just a great job up front, and obviously he knows what I want to do and what we want to do. So and he's just another coach out there, and he's anchoring the line down, and we got a couple of new starters up there, Nolan Miller and Chance Behrens. That they got he's got to get those guys on the same page, and they've been doing a good job in practice for us, and we're excited to just get on the field tomorrow.
Yeah, excited to get this season going. I drove by the Carroll Stadium on my way to the studio here, and just to have football going back on. It's a fun time of year. We all enjoy it, and I look forward to them. I'm pretty sure I'll get to go down and get a call one of the games down there. I always enjoy getting back and seeing everybody back there in Coon, and I'm there every day, but it's different when you're in the stadium. So looking forward to seeing you guys play, and wishing you the best of the year. But what do you any special wrinkles that you're going to try to throw at Waco, or anything special, or we're just going to play standard football and just figure out where we're at?
Yeah, just Crusader football. We want to establish the run, and Central City did a good job early. That game ended up being maybe a 20 or 30-point game by the end, but it was close. It was a one-score game early, and I think right before halftime. But they did as big as they were up front. Central City did able to control the line of scrimmage. So we hope we see some stuff so that we can have success, get the ground game going, and obviously then that'll open up the passing game. So we want to establish that run.
Well, we thank you. I know you're a busy guy. You're helping painting the lines on the field, and we thank Valley for the showcase and you taking the time here to talk to us on Scoreboard Show the night before your big game. And I know you have a lot of prep work to go and stuff like that, so we thank you for that, and look forward to working with you more as the season goes on.
Yeah, I appreciate the coverage, Jeff, and go CRB.
Go CRB indeed. This is Jeff Honnold, turning you back to studio.
Back again here on the New Way Ford Auto Scoreboard Show, talking about that Coon Rapids game there after the interview from Coach Moore. We were talking in between here. You got Coon Rapids Baird facing off against Waco at Des Moines Valley. That one going to be a pregame at 2:25 and the kickoff at 3 o'clock. That one going to be Nick Brinks and Jeff Blankman calling that one. Coon Rapids, talking there with the coach, he was talking about Waco, how they have a bigger up front line there, and then they got a fast quarterback, fast running back, and a good backfield, and then Honnold, you were telling me their running back's a state champion wrestler.
190-pounder, so he's not a small feller either.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got good feet, good balance. If you get a state champion, he's really good on his feet. So a big challenge for him. What I really like about this showcase is you looked at last year, Coon Rapids Baird lined up against Turkey Valley. You really don't know where anybody's at, but Turkey Valley traditionally has been a pretty good school, making the playoffs. They made playoffs last year. Coon Rapids Baird was right there. Injuries during the year kind of derailed them a little bit from making playoffs, but they knew they were there. Coming back this year, now they're playing Waco, another really good school from that eastern side. Kind of gives you a way to gauge yourself going into the season. Doesn't cost you anything, again, doesn't count against playoffs, so allows you to go in there. But really cool showcase. Kind of started out with Coon Rapids Baird and Glen Ralston. Coon Rapids Baird's been going down there quite a bit. Now it's a two-game series. They started that last year. Valley's done a great job of opening up the facility. They paint lines. They do the whole 9 yards, so it's done up really well. The fans get treated like kings. A lot of the teams will charter a bus just to make it cool for them, so the kids get to go in a charter bus and show up there. And there's another two teams waiting to play either before or after. And just a well-run event. They take care of us down in the press box area as well. Cool event for these kids to get to play on a surface. And a lot of them don't get to play on turf. So you're playing on turf and in the valley and what have you. So really cool event for them.
Yeah, as I was saying, that one going to be broadcasted on KKRL with Nick Brinks and Jeff Blankman. But that one probably one that Coon Rapids, I would assume, would want to take home in that showcase. They're probably going to have to stop that run there in Waco's fast backfield, but one that I think Coon would want to take home.
My guess is they're going to try to use a little perimeter work, try to get outside with Coon Rapids Baird's fast backs, trying to get out and just try to wear them down. They're a lot bigger, so just try to use their speed outside and try to wear things down. But should be a fun one. And again, we're looking at a Saturday game. It'll be the first time I haven't been down there. I've been down to just about all of them, but really cool event. Jeff and Nick will do a great job, and I think Casey might even be going down there to film. And Jeff Storion usually running around there, so really cool time to get to see a lot of people. So they'll have a lot of fun. So right now we will look again at some of the Week 1 scores here. Class 3A District 1, you had Carroll over Greene County, 34-21. MOC Floyd Valley over Unity Christian, 22-18. Bishop Heelan over Kemper, 32-14. Western Christian defeating Boyden Hull Rock Valley, 21-14.
Sergeant Bluff Luton defeating Lamar's in overtime 21-15, and West Lyon over Sioux Center 35-7.
Class 2A, District 8. It was Bishop Heelan defeating Kemper 32-14. Des Moines Christian all over Pella Christian 56-0. Again, Carroll beats Greene County 34-21. Roland Story blanks South Tama 47-0. Last update we had, Storm Lake 38, Sadell 23. And we're still working on the Manson, Northwest Webster, Southeast Valley score.
Then we jump over to Class 1A District 2, where IKM Manning defeats East Sac 49-34. That one a pretty good game. Emmitsburg defeating Central Lyon 20-19 in a nail biter. Then we jump over to South Central Calhoun defeating Pocahontas area 35-12. And then we still have not gotten any updates on the Sioux Central and South O'Brien game, the Southeast Valley and Manson game, and the Eagle Grove and Clarion Goldfield Dow's game.
Yeah, Clarion Goldfield. That area right there is kind of void for us. We'll try to pull some scores out of there, but it's getting difficult. Class A, District 7. Again, South Central Calhoun 35, Pocahontas area 12. Good start for South Central Calhoun. IKM Manning defeats East Sac 49-34. We'll hear from those coaches coming up. Southwest Valley 13, Red Oak 0. Earlham 41, Central Decatur 12. It was ACGC 40, Ogden 0, Riverside 68-0 over West Monona, and still waiting on the West Central Valley and the Panorama score.
And now to the 8-man District 1, we got Arweva over Exira 34-0. We had Remsen St. Mary's over Harris Lake Park 51-6. Booyer Valley takes down Griswold 49-0. Looking for the Newell Fonda and West Bend Mallard score still. Then we jump over to GTRA and Siouxland Christian 56-6. And then Woodbine defeated Glidden Ralston 58-0, and East Mills defeating West Harrison 64-26.
8-man District 9, Audubon defeats Cam Anita. And the speaker boys get mad. It's Cam. It's not Cam Anita there, Blankman. So they beat Cam 38-20. Woodbine 58, Glidden Ralston 0. Colonesco 48-0 over Murray. Baxter 58, Springville 49. That was played last week in week 0. Waco and Coon Rapids Bears we talked about will play tomorrow. It is Bishop Garrigan 48, St. Edmunds 22, and Collins Maxwell blanks GMG Garwin 64-0.
Talking about that 8-man District 9 here, we will step away and hear from Coach Dave Prescott about their loss to Woodbine and be right back here for the Scoreboard Show.
When you need a quick meal or one on the go, your Carroll Pizza Ranch has great deals for carryout and delivery. Order online and get 8 pizzas of Country's Best Chicken with potato wedges for only $20. How about 2 large pizzas for $25? Or get 2 medium single-topping pizzas, cheesy ranch sticks, and a cactus bread for just $20. Check out these deals and more at pizzaranch.com today and order hot and fresh. Pizza Ranch, located off Highway 30 in Carroll, open 7 days a week.
Whoa, that's good.
Since 1968, Mackey Motors has been serving Lake City and the surrounding communities with new and certified pre-owned vehicles. Mackey Motors is a full-service dealership providing oil changes in our Quick Lube Express bays, a service department with world-class trained technicians, a body shop and collision center with the latest equipment, a full vehicle detailing department, or come talk with one of our highly knowledgeable sales staff.
Recipient of the GM Mark of Excellence Award for 15 years running. Together, let's drive at Mackey Motors in Lake City, MackeyMotors.com.
This is Todd Danner, and you're listening to the New Way Auto Ford Scoreboard Show. With me right now is Glidden Ralston Wildcat head coach Dave Prescott. The Wildcats open their season tonight with a 58-0 loss at home against Woodbine, a very good Woodbine team. Dave, go ahead and just tell me about the game a little bit.
Well, it started out, we were playing really good defense, and all game long we really had a tough time generating any offense. Their size and their speed is just a little bit too much for us, and we just kind of struggled up front. We lost our whole starting line from last year, and we're just trying to develop some players, and it just was kind of a struggle all night, and with that aspect of it.
I know Woodbine has a lot of outstanding athletes. Was the quarterback and the receiver have a big night for them?
Yeah, we would really kind of held them off of the rushing game. I thought we were doing pretty well at that, and every once in a while they would, hit a long one. They did. Their athleticism at their quarterback did help them out quite a bit. He broke a couple long runs.
and they did have some long passes. It was just a little bit like, a little too much receivers for us at the end. But I thought, our coverages and all our responsibilities we did on defense was pretty sound for about a quarter and a half to 2 quarters.
So what were some of the, going into the ball game, what were some of the good things that you saw out of your team tonight?
We did figure out, we started hitting some holes, and Colby did break a few runs for, 7, 8, and 10 yards, and we did start, figuring out how we could get the blocking going, and our biggest issue is working together and double and climbing and getting those type of things down in an assignment. But it was a lot better than actually in the scrimmage than what I thought we had. So we're just kind of looking at improving every day, and I think we did even get better, even though the score was not really indicative of that.
I know you're, like you said, you're in your first year as a head coach, but you've been with the program for a while, and you got to hit a few of the kids. So it's really not a matter of changing a whole lot from your program, because like you said, in the past you've had a lot of success with the things you've done. So you're really coming into the season, you probably didn't change a whole lot that way, did you?
No, everything, we've had this offense for a couple of years now, and our defense is kind of a modified version of what we've been running for several years.
Right.
So we're just kind of, going off of that, but it just, it gets to a point where, we graduate about 4 of them, and it's really tough to replace them, when you've had some 4-year starters that you have to get after.
So how about I know you have no numbers or anything like that, but offensively, defensively, anybody that you want to mention stand out tonight for you, that had real good nights for you?
Well, really, our defensive backfield, I thought, did a really fantastic job. The 2 defensive ends, kind of kept everybody in check there in the first half. Everybody played. We played a really physical brand of football, and we did that in scrimmage, and that carried over to here. But offensively, Colby was kind of more the show on that. We did hit a few passes, and they were just sitting back in there 3-3, and it was just really tough to find yards through the air.
All right. Coaches always talk about finding if the biggest improvements you make is from week 1 to week 2. What are some of the things that you're looking? I mean, obviously losing 58-0, but what are some of the things that you look to improve on next week against a good Arweeva team who opened up tonight with a lopsided win over Elkhorn?
Yeah, we just got to keep going forward, developing depth and getting better up front, and keeping on our blocking schemes, recognizing what the defense is and how we need to block it. That's just kind of the biggest things, I think, the issues that we're facing, because a lot of times we miss a guy, or we take a wrong step, or we think the other guy's going to, block, and we don't. So it's just getting that, kind of the team unity up front where they can just start doing that type of stuff and have it just be second nature.
Okay, and like I said, another big thing the coaches always talk about after week 1, did you come out of the game healthy?
Yeah, we did. I didn't think there was any. We did. We had Alex Daniel did tweak his ankle, and I think in the third quarter, and he came out and sat out a little bit, but he was going back. I think our conditioning was pretty good. We really didn't have anybody cramping or anything. No real bad injuries. So I think we're coming back. We'll probably have some bumps and bruises tomorrow, and take care of them over the weekend, and hopefully everybody will be back on Monday watching film, be ready to go.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, I appreciate your time, and I wish you the best of luck next week against Arweeva, and I look forward to talking to you throughout the season.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, Dave. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Earning college credit while in high school is a smart choice. Area high school students have several college class options available to them through the DMAC Carroll campus and Templeton Regional Center. Students, contact your high school counselor today to talk about how DMAC college credit can be part of your high school plan at no cost to you. DMAC, life's calling.
Family owned and operated since 1948, Quant Auto Salvage is the area's best full-service scrap facility. Whether you're looking to sell scrap iron, vehicles, or batteries, or you need to locate that difficult-to-find part for your vehicle, they have what you need. And if it isn't in stock, they can locate it with their nationwide parts database. Quant Auto Salvage. They sell the best and recycle the rest.
When you buy from a local business, like one of the New Way Auto Group dealerships, the money stays right here in the local community. Supporting local businesses helps our local economy, and that lets us help local organizations, schools, and giving back to our community. Good luck to all players from the New Way Auto Group dealerships with locations in Coon Rapids, Jefferson, and Pocahontas.
Back again here on the New Way Auto Ford Scoreboard Show, this time joined by Todd Danner and Jeff Honnold. Todd, you did the interview for the Glidden-Ralston game, and that one just was not pretty for the Wildcats. What did you hear from the coach, obviously?
Coach Prescott, even though the score was a lopsided 58-0 in the final, he was pretty pleased with the way his team actually played tonight, especially on the defensive side. He said they gave up a couple of big plays that Woodbine had scored a couple of touchdowns on, but besides that, he thought for the most part, his defense made Woodbine work for all of their scores and had him put long drives together. So defensively, he thought he did pretty well, even though the 58-0 score doesn't seem like it. But and offensively, he said they couldn't muster a whole lot of offense tonight. There's like 3 and out most of the night. I think they had 1 or 2 drives, maybe 20+ yards. But other than that, he was pretty pleased with the effort of his kids.
You look at that Woodbine. They have been, the Pryor boys are over there. They've got a lot of athletes. They've been good. We saw them in playoff baseball. So we know they have some talent there. So probably looking at a playoff contending team. So so you look at that Glidden-Ralston score and you go, whoa. This team might be pretty salty over at Woodbine. They're about due for a good run here.
Yeah, they are. They got a couple of the prior kid as a quarterback, and then they got a good wide receiver. It's it's one of the top, according to some sites across the country, one of the top receivers to be recruited here. He's only a sophomore, so he's got a sophomore receiver. So we're looking for the next couple of years to maybe go D1 somewhere to play for him. But Woodbine's right now they got a class going through. All schools have that. Class they got certain kids going through it, and Woodbine's in that right now, and they're going to be tough in all their sports.
Yeah, obviously, when you said that the coach was pleased with the defensive end of the ball, I think it's easier for a coach to fix an offense when they go back to practice the next week. You got a couple days off, and then you're right back into another game the next Friday. But I think it'd be a lot easier for Glidden-Ralston to fix their offense than it was to fix their defense. Obviously, 56-0 isn't pretty, but if the coach is pleased with their defense, I think that makes his job a lot easier.
Well, like I said, he's got some new. He lost a lot of kids last year. Glidden did, and so expectations coming in. This is his first year as a head coach. He's been with the program for a while. Dave Prescott has, and so they really didn't change a whole lot with the system. So the kids knew the system pretty well coming in. It's just a matter of putting kids in certain spots that's going to make them successful throughout the season.
Well, and that you talked about that you got the prior kids that are faster than fast and strong, and you got a good wide receiver. If you didn't give up a lot of big plays, if you made them work their way down the field, that's where I can understand where a coach is happy. We didn't give up the big play. They were able to drive and score, and good for them. If we make them work on long drives and they still score, hey, that's a good football team. So, I could see where he's pleased about not giving up those long plays and just making that other team work. That'll bode well as you get into the season. If your defense can keep you in it, and most teams can't sustain long drives consistently. So I could see where that would make him really pleased.
And then something I think I look at here, when you said that Prescott, obviously a first-year coach, I think something, you look at some of the longer-tenured coaches, they have trust in the system, is that these kids see this coach, they've had prior success, they come up, they're like, this is a guy that's going to want us to win. When you have a brand-new coach, so some of the underclassmen see is like, maybe he's not ready, but when you have a coach like Prescott, that's kind of set the precedent here, so that he trusts his defense, and then obviously the score wasn't pretty, but he still gave praise to his team. I think that's kind of building that trust for him to build a legacy over at Glidden-Ralston.
Oh, he'll Wildcat team will have a good team this year. I mean, they're going to be all right. Now, next week they go to travel to Arweva to take on the Rockets of Arweva, and
that should be a good game.
That should be a real good ball game. That should be a good ball game. It always has been a good ball game the last few years, and it's kind of turned into a rivalry game between the two schools. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and then with that being said, you look over at the Arweva score, they won 34-0, but you did say, Todd, that their starting quarterback was injured in the first quarter.
Yeah, early in the first quarter, the senior quarterback, Blaine Smith, went down with an injury, but it ended up being a shoulder injury, and so it's like kind of the questionable is going to be like week to week with Smith, but yeah, Austin was really happy with how this Johnny Rieselman, who is a backup quarterback, came in and did a nice job of leading our Weaver for the rest of the ball game. I guess he had some good rushing plays, nice short passes to the Regaler boys, and so he was really impressed with Rieselman and impressed with his. He said it was a total team effort all night.
With those two coaches, it would not surprise me to see them do something different than with Smith. If they're trying to save that shoulder, maybe make him a receiver or an H-back or something in that nature, trying to take some of that pressure off of him if they find a quarterback that can work. So it would not surprise me. They'll want him on the field. If they can get him on the field in another capacity.
Especially if the Rieselman kid can step up like he's supposed what Coach Stokes said he did tonight. And he did a lot of good things. He was really impressed with him. And Stokes told the Rieselman kid to be ready because he might get some snaps. They took a lot of snaps during the preseason, and he might get some time. And obviously tonight was his time.
Great coaching when you have somebody ready like that. And again, that should be a really good game next week. That Glidden Ralston Arweeva, it always is. So that should be a fun one coming up. And then, you you look at that South Central game. South Central Calhoun and Pocahontas. Pocahontas is always tough. And for some reason, South Central has a tough time with them. But it sounds like they kind of handled it tonight.
Well, and I think Coach Case was a little surprised by that too, the way they handled them, because he told me that they have a young team this year.
Yeah, they're young.
He said they play a lot of freshmen, they play a lot of sophomores, they have no seniors. He said on the squad there, so wow. they're young. So he didn't know what to expect coming into tonight's ball game, but he was really impressed with how his team fought through everything they went through. He said the only bad thing they had tonight was 4 turnovers. They turned the ball over 4 times, twice inside the 20, the opponent's 20-yard line. So he said that's couple of things they need to work on. But he said with the squad he has of such youngsters, he was really impressed with how his team came out tonight and played as well as they did.
Coach Casey, you'll get a chance to listen to him more and more, and kind of get he's always going to kind of give you the humble answer, but you look at him when he's the most dangerous is when he has a team that's under the radar,
right?
And this team is completely under the radar. I guarantee these young kids have bought in hook, line, and sinker to everything that this coaching staff has told them, and they're fighting like dogs, practicing hard. Where he starts getting into trouble is if he gets a senior-laden team that's had success. Maybe they've had these guys have been freshmen and played and got all the way to seniors, and they've had success all the way through. It's hard to motivate them. You're used to winning. You just expect it. I'm gonna walk in. This group, I think, they've been winning, but they've been struggling a little bit as well. They're not winning like South Central used to. So
right.
I think he has this young group's attention. They could be a lot of fun by the end of the year.
Like he told me too, he does. With all the young guys I have in this team, it bodes well for the future.
Oh, boy.
And they're looking forward to the future, but he didn't know how that coordinates this year. And after week 1, he's been pretty pleased. But he says taking care of the ball next week and getting some of these young more playing time, more confidence built up. He says they got a chance to be a pretty good squad.
Yeah, I think even you said a bunch of underclassmen. I think when it comes down to it, if they come out and win now, it doesn't become a want anymore for these underclassmen. It becomes a desire. They go out and they want to win football. They go out, they want to come out with a win. So, Coach Case over at SEC with a bunch of underclassmen, you can really build something there flying under the radar.
If anybody can develop a team, it's gonna be Coach Case.
It's scary. If they're this good now, and they're I can guarantee you these young kids are soaking up everything that coaching staff tells them.
Well, yeah, exactly.
They could be dangerous at the end of the year.
Young 8th graders coming into the freshman, and you get to play for a coach like Coach Case.
Oh boy!
I mean,
if he makes playoffs, look out. That will be the one team you not want to see in the playoffs because they will be it's a chip in a chair for those kids. They don't know what they don't know. You get them into the playoffs, they will be dangerous.
And I know Coach Case would say, well, playoffs.
Oh, I know, but I'm just
week 1. But you're right. If there's anybody that's going to get them ready for a long run here, it's going to be Coach Case.
Boy, and if they're buying in now, look out.
Yeah, and then we will step away here for just a minute and listen to the actual interview here from Coach Case and hear what he had to say about that game.
Hey, sports fans. This is Nate Luth from Next Generation Chiropractic. Call today to schedule your detailed spinal analysis and comprehensive chiropractic adjustment to keep you performing your best. Or enjoy a session in our new infrared sauna to facilitate recovery and give your immune system a boost. For any questions or to schedule, call Next Generation Chiropractic at 712-775-2295 or swing by 1121 Plaza Drive right next to the radio station.
This is Todd Danner, and you're listening to the New Way Forward Auto Scoreboard Show. With me right now is South Central Calhoun head coach Brian Case, whose team opens up their season tonight with a 35-12 victory over Pocahontas at home. Nice win for you tonight. Coach Case, can you tell me about it a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Todd. I really think that our kids played pretty well tonight, to be honest with you. We made some mistakes. We turned the ball over, I think, 4 times. Only took it away twice. I know we're going to go back and look on film and see that we missed some open receivers and things like that, and didn't take care of the ball like we should have. But the kids played hard. I thought we had great effort, great attitude. I thought defensively we were flying to the football. Offensively, at times we were executing at a really high level. And for the most part, it was just a good first outing for us. We knew that there was going to be mistakes. We knew that there was going to be some adversity, but our kids went through that. So I was pretty pleased with that. Same time, Todd, we had a quarterback that hadn't played football since his freshman year. That came out. Ended up, I think he ended up with 3 touchdowns, 2 of them on the ground. Then he also had a pick 6 in Andrew Anderson. We played, I think, 4 or 5 freshmen tonight. We played probably 4 or 5 sophomores tonight, so we were playing really, really young. We don't have any seniors on our squad up front.
Okay.
Also, I mean, it bodes really well for the future.
Yeah.
But at this time, I think that what we put together tonight is promising for this year as well.
I was going to and mention that a little bit, and like you said, with the expectations coming in with a whole bunch of almost entirely new group, you had to be really pleased with how their performance was tonight.
Yeah, no question. Except for the turnovers and just not the ball security and things like that. But
were they costly ones? Were they in your own territory, deep in their territory, or what?
Yeah, there was a couple times that we actually were inside the red zone going in to score, and we just turned the ball over. I think we fumbled it twice inside there. There was another situation that we ran kind of a wheel route and so forth, and we just hit the wrong receiver. Instead of a 50-50 ball, we should have hit a kid that was wide open down the middle. But those things happen. That's why you have first games. I'm glad that our first game was a non-district game, so our kids can come out and just kind of get these mistakes out of the way. The old adage says that you make a lot of improvements between week 1 and week 2. Right. Hopefully, our kids can do that going into this next week.
Well, probably the number one thing you're going to work on for next week is like taking care of the ball then?
Well, yeah, ball security, and then defensively, we didn't do a real good job in space as far as tackling was concerned. Even though we were flying to the football and we were playing physical football from the defensive side of it, when people got in space, we had a tougher time just tracking the inside hip and bringing people to the ground. We were overrunning things. We just didn't have great angles. So that's one thing that we're really going to work hard on defensively, and offensively. Obviously, we just got to take care of the football, so it comes down to ball security.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, Brian, how was it getting the foot season going against somebody else besides your own players in practice?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it's just, Mike Ain has been the head coach over there for a long time. I think he's starting his 33rd year as a coach. Not necessarily all of them been as a head coach, but he's done a great job year in and year out. It's always been a rivalry game for us. I mean, it's always been a great game for both of us. We've happened to have the upper hand when we played in the series so far, but it's always a good contest. So anytime you can get out in front of the home fans, get something new, even though it's a familiar opponent and so forth, it is just good to get back out there.
And Brian, did you come out of the game healthy-wise going into week 2?
We did. We had some kids that were kind of dinged up going into this. We actually we're missing one of our linemen right now, and he tweaked his ankle maybe 2 weeks ago. He's not quite there yet. Hopefully we'll have him back for this next week. So we're kind of thin up front, but we're building some resiliency there. We're building some depth there. We have, like I said, I think 3 or 4 freshmen that actually came in and played really quality minutes for us, whether it was on the offensive line or defensive line. Same thing with some sophomores. So we got some quality minutes, and the future looks bright that way. But these kids, I think that they're gelling, that they're building that culture right now.
Right.
It looks pretty good. It feels pretty good. The attitude is really good. Hopefully we can kind of continue this thing and work on the things that we need to improve on, and just keep building on the things that we did well tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brian, and you're home again next week against a Southwest Valley team that won 13-0 over a Red Oak team. Do you know anything about them right offhand about Southwest Valley?
Yeah, we played them last year. We had a pretty good ball game against them. I think they were rated number 3 in the state at the time that we played them. We really didn't know what we were going to get out of those guys, but we went down there, and I thought we played really well. We walked away with a pretty good victory against those guys. Obviously playing from the second time around. Their coaches, this is his second year with them, so he's got them playing the way he wants them to play. we're going to have our hands full. They're going to come in here and they're going to be hungry. It's going to be the first district game, so we're going to have to show up, make sure that we're improved from week 1 to week 2, and just kind of see what happens.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me tonight, and I look forward to chatting with you throughout the season to see how the Titans do this year.
Sounds great, Todd. Appreciate the time.
Okay, have a good night. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks.
For more than 40 years, Culver's has brought you fresh, never frozen deliciousness. And since 2012, we have been proud to serve the Carroll community. From mouth-watering burgers to our one-of-a-kind custards, our goal at Culver's is simple. Satisfy your hunger with the highest quality products delivered to you with a smile. Whether you are a coach, player, or parent, Culver's is the perfect destination to build team spirit. Come celebrate 12 years in Carroll with us.
Culver's, welcome to Delicious.
Outlaw Graphics is your local promotion and sign company. Outlaw can do it all, from vehicle graphics to promotional items and all the signage you need. Outlaw does it all, no matter how big or how small your order is. If you need thousands of items for your business, talk to Outlaw. Work with Outlaw's designers from start to finish. You're going to love the results. Call the Outlaw. Outlaw Graphics, 775-2599. Outlaw Graphics in Carroll.
Welcome back again to the New Way Auto Scoreboard Show here. We're going to read off a couple scores. I'll start with Class 3A District 1. Carroll taking down Greene County 34-21. MLC Floyd Valley over Unity Christian 22-18. Bishop Heelan defeating Kemper 32-14. Western Christian over Boyden Hole Rock Valley 21-14. Sergeant Bluff Luton defeating Lamar's in overtime 21-15. And West Lyon defeating Sioux Center 35-7.
Okay, we'll turn our attention to Class 2A District 8. As Mason mentioned, with Kemper losing 32-14 to Sioux City Heelan tonight. Roland Story comes up with a 47-0 victory over South Tama. Storm Lake rolls 38-23 over Sedale. And Des Moines Christian shuts out Pella Christian 56-0. And then also in that Greene County, Carroll 34-21 over Greene County.
And then we move over to Class 1A District 2. IKM Manning defeating East Sag 49-34. Moving over to a close one here, Emmitsburg defeating Central Lyon 20-19, and then South Central Calhoun defeating Pocahontas area 35-12. Still looking for the scores with that Sioux Central South O'Brien game, the Manson Webster and Southeast Valley game, as well as the Eagle Grove Clarion Goldfield Dows game.
And in Class A District 7, South Central Calhoun opens the season tonight with a victory 35-12 over Pocahontas area. IKM Manning opens their season with a victory tonight 49-34 over East Sac County. Southwest Valley beats Red Oak 13-0. Earlham rolls over to Central Decatur 41-12. ACGC comes up with a 40-0 victory over Ogden. And Riverside shuts out West Winona 68-0. Still looking for the score between Panorama and West Central Valley.
And then to our final page here, we got the 8-man District 1, Arweva picking up a big win 34-0 over Exira. And then you got Remsen St. Mary's defeating Harris Lake Park in a landslide 51-6. Moving over to a shutout here between Booyer Valley and Griswold, 49-0. Booyer Valley picks that one up. Then we got GTRA winning against Siouxland Christian, 56-6, and Woodbine defeating Glidden Ralston in a shutout, 58-0. Still looking for the Newell Fonda and West Bend Mallard score.
8-man District 9. Sean Burke's Audubon Wheelers come up with a big win tonight in their season opener, 38-20 over a very good Caminita team. Woodbine shuts out Glidden Ralston, as mentioned, 58-0. Bishop Garrigan comes up with a 48-22 victory over Fort Dodge St. Edmunds. Colonesco shuts out Murray 48-0. And Collins Maxwell shuts out GMG Garwin 64-0. And in Coon Rapids Baird and Waco will play tomorrow at Valley Stadium in Des Moines.
So just looking, as I mentioned earlier, just looking at kind of a lot of these games here, you know, you got, just on this back page, you have Arweva's game was a shutout. Glidden Ralston and Woodbine was a shutout. You had Colonesco was a shutout. And Collins Maxwell was a shutout. So a lot of these high-scoring games here became this kind of just landslide-looking games because of the shutouts. You know, the 64-0, 48-0, you got 49-0 and 34-0, and then as well as 58-0. So in this week one, is that kind of shocking to see a lot of shutouts?
I'm not saying it's shocking in week one, because in week one, you know, a lot of non-district ball games going on, and you probably have more lopsided ball games in week one than you're going to see during the rest of the regular season. Just because you don't know the matchups, what expectations of teams coming in, you don't know who's going to be playing who, like I said, the matchups, and we did just get another score in Manson Northwest Webster did beat Southeast Valley 28-26 in Class 2A District 8 tonight.
You know, and you go back to that too, what you're talking about, Todd. That week one, you look at Kemper. You know, they're going to play up. They're playing Heelan. Greene County playing up, playing Carroll. You get a lot of that where teams are testing themselves. Coon Rapids Berry against Waco. Week one doesn't matter. It's not throwaway because you're gaining a lot of information. But you know, you talk about the smaller classes. You're into district play next week. You know, Carroll still got another one, another preseason type game. But those smaller classes, you're into districts now. Next week counts.
Right.
This week, it goes to power rankings and what have you, and all that kind of stuff in seeding. But next week, that's where the rubber meets the road.
I would say for some schools, it all starts next week for district play. But that week one, it's a measuring stick for a lot of schools. You want to see how your kids are going to react to certain situations. You might do something in week one that you're not going to do in week 2 and week 3, but you also might see something in week 1 that you think you're going to be able to use throughout the season. So, coaches find out a lot about their teams in week 1, and like you always hear the same old thing. Your most improvement is from week 1 to week 2, and I think a lot of teams are looking forward to that.
And then the one game I kind of kept my eye on throughout the night was the Carroll-Greene County game. You look at the final score, 34-21. Doesn't look as close to the game as it was throughout the game. Greene County kept it really close, 21-21 throughout that whole third and almost fourth quarter. And then Carroll just, they were really run heavy tonight, obviously relying on Taden Peterson and Reese Zigman. But you kind of saw that last year as well. So this is just kind of another building step here because, you had Carter Essex starting at quarterback last year. You had the 2 younger guys as both juniors. And now with another year under Coach Roeder's belt and then another year under their belt, they're kind of moving on and being the top dogs as seniors now.
And I'm looking forward to hearing from Casey about that the Kemper Heelan game because Heelan is last year was really tough in that district. Really put the wood to Carroll in the second half. So you look at the score and you go ooh, but Kemper playing up and a really tough Heelan team that could make the playoffs. That might not be as bad as you think, and then you're looking at that Carroll score too. I'm not sure what Greene County is. They have a lot of good wrestlers, so they tend to be pretty good, but I'm not sure where they're at. So it's hard to gauge this week 1 because you just don't know what you're seeing there, and it'll be interesting to see. We won't get to talk to Nick, but to listen to Casey that was at the game, and then even that ESAC and ICAM Manning game sounds like it was a pretty good game. Other than some turnovers, so to hear their eyeballs on it too, and see what you actually see.
Well, in week 1, some teams play the upper teams that get a test, and some teams will play a team that should handle. But I think coaches when they enter week 1, they're not so much worried about their opponents. They're worried about what can we do about how good can we be? What can we do good that's going to get us going into week 2 and week 3 and week 4? So I think that some of the things that's what they're looking at is let's do some of the things that we know we're going to be able to control and not worry about things we can't control.
Yeah, some of these teams have been practicing since early August together, and a lot of these guys, if they're in the same class, they've been playing football together for a lot of years now. But I think as a coach, this is kind of your first test where it's not, we're scrimmaging our own guys. We're going out and we're playing against teams that want to come out and they're hungry to win. So I think it's more of a test of, what you were saying, what can our guys do opposed to what can our opponents do against us.
And high school football players love this time of the year. I mean, they want to get out there, they want to play. Like I said, they've been practicing for over a month now, so they just want to get out and play football, and that's what they live for.
And now you're getting in the routine.
Yeah.
So we played today, Friday night, get the weekend off, come back Monday, start working on the next teams, flush it, watch the film, flush it, go on. So you're right, and I'm kind of curious to hear from Coach Rowe. We were popping in and listening to the games. When we're here in the studio, you try to turn all 3 studios up and get an ear on it, and I missed a couple of scores. I know they gave up some big scores. I think that's going to be one of the focuses probably on the defenses. They gave up a couple big ones. But they also stole a couple big ones defensively. So curious, but yeah, you're right. Week 2 is going to be a whole lot different than week 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think week 2, is really when you're going to see that improvement for some of these teams because you play, as we were talking, you either play down and you play a team that you can manage, or you play up and you play a team that, you just want to see what you can do against them. So I think when you jump from week 1 to week 2 or week 1 to week 3, that's where you're going to see the most improvement throughout the season. If not just as a timeline from week 1 to the end of the year, you'll see a lot of improvement there. But I think, when you're like a coach like Coach Roeder, you're going to see a win that's 34-21 against a Greene County team, but I don't think you're going to kind of give it as much praise as you would. I think you're going to kind of take away the things that you want to nitpick and get fixed before you jump into this district play.
You know, I talked to interviewing the coaches tonight. You know, Sean Burks out of Audubon was the only one really that mentioned his kids got a lot of cramps tonight.
Yeah,
a lot of kids cramping up tonight with the I told him it was a beautiful night for a football game because it wasn't the hot weather we had earlier in the week. So he thought it was a real nice night for football. But for some reason, he says maybe you have to work on conditioning because he had a lot of kids go down tonight with cramps and he said his team had to fight through a lot of adversity tonight for some reason because he had kids. They were down 12 to 8 early on, and he had a lot of kids get injured in the ball game. Not major injuries. They came back. But he said it had a lot of kids cramped and go out tonight. So he played a lot of kids tonight.
Well, and part of your problem is, too, that you had the hot and humid, so you got a little dehydrated during the week. But when it gets this nice out, we always seem to see it, you know, you think we're same question, why are we getting it? The kids aren't drinking as much. It's not as hot. I don't feel like I need it. And then all of a sudden I'm cramping. No, you're burning up a lot. It's a game day, so it's a learning experience for them too. Even though it's cool out, you still gotta treat it like it's hot and humid and keep putting those fluids in, or you're gonna cramp. So I don't think it's as much conditioning as it is just young guys not thinking about it, being, you know, I'm tough, I can get through it. I don't really need a drink. I don't feel like I do, and all of a sudden, whoa, wait a minute here, I'm way behind. So.
Yeah, and I was listening here on KCIM to that Kemper game, and they had the same problem. Coach Steinkamp's squad, there was probably 3 or 4 times I could hear over and over, somebody's down, and, you think it's a major injury, and then they're just sitting there with a cramp in their calf, So, obviously, nice out, and what Honnold was saying, you need to get more fluids into you, but then also the conditioning aspect. But that's something as a coach, you kind of need to point out is like, hey, guys, you got to keep hydrated. You got to keep maintaining your body so that when you get into these big moments, you don't really want one of your star players to go down with a cramp because then they could be out for maybe half or the full drive at that point, and then you lose one of the guys that you really need out there on the field.
Well, that's what Coach Burke said tonight. He said he played 13 to 14 different guys on offense and 13 to 14 different guys on defense just because the kids kept on going down all night. So, like he said, his team had to fight through a lot of adversity, down 12-8 early on. He said 2 quick scores right after halftime is what was the difference in that ball game that kind of made it in their favor.
Yeah, and then players going down, you got pros and cons in week 1. You get to see other guys slotted into positions where you might not have seen that opportunity. But as well, you also kind of feel out that, like, if you're up maybe 1 score, you're down 1 score, and one of your guys goes out, you got to throw somebody in that maybe you weren't going to throw in right away. So then you got to kind of play to their strengths and then go out there and play with a different team as you would have at the start of the game.
Well, a perfect example was Arweva with Wayne Smith going down at quarterback, for the last couple of years, and then expectations of him coming and having a great season. He goes down early on, and John Riesel steps in and does a nice job for him.
All right, so we will step away here, and we will hear from Coach Roeder and Coach McCullough.
Earning college credit while in high school is a smart choice. Area high school students have several college class options available to them through the DMAC Carroll campus and Templeton Regional Center. Students, contact your high school counselor today to talk about how DMAC college credit can be part of your high school plan at no cost to you. DMAC, life's calling.
When you buy from a local business, like one of the New Way Auto Group dealerships, the money stays right here in the local community. Supporting local businesses helps our local economy, and that lets us help local organizations, schools, and giving back to our community. Good luck to all players from the New Way Auto Group dealerships with locations in Coon Rapids, Jefferson, and Pocahontas.
When you need a quick meal or one on the go, your Carroll Pizza Ranch has great deals for carryout and delivery. Order online and get 8 pizzas of country's best chicken with potato wedges for only $20. How about 2 large pizzas for $25? Or get 2 medium single-topping pizzas, cheesy ranch sticks, and a cactus bread for just $20. Check out these deals and more at pizzaranch.com today and order hot and fresh. Pizza Ranch, located off Highway 30 in Carroll, open 7 days a week.
Whoa, that's good. For high school athletes,
Every practice, every game,
every rep matters. That's why Gatorade is here to keep you at your best. Packed with electrolytes, keeping you hydrated and energized so you can push harder, play longer, and recover faster. On the field, court, or track, let's go! Gatorade gives you the fuel you need to perform at your peak.
No matter the sport, no matter the challenge.
Gatorade, fueling the future of sports, one high school athlete at a time.
When you need to know, KCIM is the place to listen on 1380 AM and 95.1 FM.
This is KCIM Carroll.
1, 2, 3.
It's the New Way Ford Scoreboard Show. All the scores from all the games.
Let's go!
And you'll hear from all of the head coaches around the area.
1, 2, 3.
The New Way Ford Scoreboard Show is brought to you by Feldfire, Culver's, Next Gen Chiropractic, Quant Auto Salvage, New Way Auto Group, Outlaw Graphics, Gatorade, Des Moines Area Community College, DMAC, Mackey Motors, and Pizza Ranch.
Now let's get to the scores from this week in high school football.
Welcome back to the New Way Auto Group Scoreboard Show here on 1380 AM, 95.1 FM at KCIM. Casey Miners talking now with Kemper Knights head football coach Ryan Steinkamp. Knights lose tonight 32-14 to a pretty good Bishop Heelan team. And Coach, overall thoughts on how kind of tonight played out? We'll talk about the game a little bit, but got to be difficult dropping the first game of the season.
Yeah, you work fall off season and stuff like that too. You always want to come out with a W, but we learned a lot tonight too. I know there's some good, some bad, some ugly out there, but there's also a lot of potential. And this is game one of a long game season, so I'm so excited about this season, excited about our kids, and they're definitely going to answer that call to improve.
You got to like the way that the kids never really quit tonight, despite being down most of the football game.
Yeah. I mean, we got it. We were in a good situation there in the third quarter. Battled back. We got the touchdown. Got a couple of stops. I was about to punt it on fourth down. The kids wanted to go for it. I was like, let's do it. I believe in the kids, and so we were this close to completing that play. And I told them we got to rep that more. And it just needs more timing, more practice, and I'm not going to shy away from doing that again. I'm always going to believe in the kids, and So I'm excited about the potential of this team.
Offensive struggles for you guys in the first half a little bit. It looked like Brock was kind of running for his life, I would say, a little bit back there, but also looked like you guys were trying to move the pocket with him when he was rolling out. Was that something you had to adjust to, or was that a game plan going into tonight?
Well, anybody that watched it noticed that number 7 is probably he was a dude. He shut down that whole field, and that's one of the better football players I've ever seen in high school or coached against too. So he took away the whole field, and we had trouble tackling him too. So we were call play, and they're moving him. The Heelan's smart. They move him from side to side, so it made it a little tougher for us to game plan. And O-line had some struggles in there too, but overall Brock still got a lot of good passes off tonight.
What was the game plan going into the second half? Looked like you guys tackled a lot better, I would say, in the second half on the Thomas kid and even their other running backs, and also the offense got going a little bit in the second half as well.
Yeah, we started attacking the middle, running inside of them, and defensively too. We had we changed kind of our scheme a little bit, a few different stunts and blitzes, and we could put our kids in better situations. And even their touchdown run, that Thomas kid had, we were in a great spot. Sometimes it's Jimmy's versus Joe's and not X's and O's, and he just overpowered us a couple of times too. But a lot of our kids were in the right spot. It wasn't lack of effort. Something we can just continue to work on.
I know the Thomas kid's somebody you got a game plan for, but were you expecting what he did tonight against you guys?
Not quite. I knew he was going to be good too. I didn't think he didn't play much offense last year. We saw him as a sophomore. He was really good. He's only a junior. His speed, and he's 6'3", 215, and he runs pretty fast too. That's a big boy to take down too. So he put his foot in the ground, and we had linebackers in good spots, but you have to have a great angle to take him down.
What were the defensive adjustments you made into the second half? I thought Tate Barrett had a great night.
Yep.
There's been a linebacker spot for you.
Yeah, they were getting the edge on us in the first half too. So we actually widened out our backers, started knifing them in, they cut them inside, kind of forcing the ball to Tate, and he made some really nice plays. We kind of moved Kent Sanders around a little bit from outside to inside. That definitely helped too. And then I thought had a lot of Healy boys. Sean, I almost said Riley. Sean Healy did a great job playing DN. He hasn't practiced that a ton. He's more of a linebacker type, but he might be following that family tradition playing DN.
And I think he had a good game for you in all facets of the game. Sean, as we're talking right now, scored the 1-yard touchdown for you. They got you guys on the board. And then had the blocked punt, recovered it for a touchdown. So really like the things you saw from him tonight.
Yeah. He played great defensively. And a lot of it, he just wants to be on the field, too. He's a great kid who works hard. So it was awesome to have that success tonight.
As the game went on, seemed to be playing a little bit better. Found your groove on one of those drives, both of those drives late. Good things you can take away going into next week against Underwood offensively?
Yeah, we can move the ball. I think it's just more situational, that this group's got to mature with a little bit is, those money downs. We're going for on fourth down, like we got to get it. We can't have a half-hearted play or third down, third and 3, 3rd and 5. We gotta put it. We gotta get the ball, get the chains moving, and we did that sometimes too. I think it's just we gotta lock in a little bit more too. We got to rep some of those plays a little more too. You can tell our timing was just off a little bit.
You learn a lot about yourself week 1.
Sure, absolutely.
What did you learn about you guys tonight?
That we can go far. We got a good team too. Like we made some big plays on defense. I think we had 2 or 3 fourth down stops. We can adjust. Coaches did a good job adjusting tonight too. A lot of the mistakes that had probably went to our pre-game plan. We didn't know quite to expect from Heelan. So I think is that we have good athletes, we got good kids, and that we can adjust and adapt, and we can play with anybody on our schedule.
Underwood coming up next week. What do you know about them? They return a good quarterback.
Yeah, their quarterback's a big, tall stud. He's got a cannon. Underwood coaches are very good. They got that program in the right direction. Been dome team last couple of years too. So I tell the boys it doesn't get any easier next week. But it's good. It's good air to see how do we grow from last week to this week. How do we grow? How do we get better? And are we going to answer that call and ask the kids? They said yes. And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And the goal is to be playing our best football by the time districts start.
Coach, I want to thank you for joining me. Good luck coming up the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That was Kemper Knights football head coach Ryan Steinkamp here in the New Way Auto Group Scoreboard Show. We will step away, take a break. Back with more coaches. Also give you some more scores still coming up here on KCIM.
All right, so right back into it here. We're going to look at the Bishop Heelan and Kemper game on the New Way Auto Scoreboard Show. Joined here by Todd Danner and Casey Miners. 32-14, Kemper dropped it to Bishop Heelan. Casey, what did you see from that game live?
It was a good game. Kemper's got athletes out there when you graduate. A bunch of kids offensively, and you're working in new kids offensively. It's going to be some hiccups, and Bishop Heelan's got the real deal at running back in the Case and Thomas kid. Ran for almost 400 yards and scored all 5 of the touchdowns. You take him off the field, Kemper probably wins that football game. He was their whole offense.
Yeah, when I was talking to some of the people around the area, you look at that Kemper team, and then you look across the board at that Bishop Heelan team, what their main focus was, is what I heard, was their tight end. I heard some of the numbers from him, 6'6", 230, I believe, huge tight end.
Yeah, but they didn't use him at all. They didn't throw the football to him at all. Their main focus is they wanted to, run the football, and they did that. The time of possession was definitely in Heelan's favor. I think Kemper's got some stuff to work on offensively. Steinkamp will get it figured out. You look at them last year; they're one of the best offensive teams in the state last year. Mm-hmm. They'll get it figured out going into the next week, and they've got a tough test with Underwood coming in, and that's what we thought last year. Last year they lost to Bishop Heelan, opened up the year, lost to Underwood to open up the year. So there's still plenty of season left to go on. Kemper will be just fine.
Heelan was the state runner-up last year.
3A.
In 3A. So, how did you coming to the game tonight? How did you see the matchup between those two teams?
I think Heelan honestly looked like a team that was playing for a state championship game last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the beginning of the year last year, you kind of looked at them like, this could be a decent team, and then they kind of started playing better and better and better. You look at them tonight; they look like a team that you're like, okay, yeah, they could play for a state championship.
Well, traditionally, they're very, very strong team
for sure.
Over the years, and then they're one of those teams that are going to be right there at the end every single year, and I guess they proved that tonight.
Yeah, Kemper's got the athletes. A bunch of their kids are multi-sport kids. That's what you want to see. Kemper's got the athletes to be really good at it. Just saw some hiccups, and some things really worked well for him. They were able to get Carson Canny open over the middle of the field a lot tonight, which is really good. I had him for 100 yards tonight, over 8 catches, and when you got an experienced quarterback like Brock Bading coming back, the hiccups you saw tonight are just going to get better and better. But the one thing they've really got to work on is blocking up front. The line kind of struggled tonight a little bit.
You mentioned that earlier. I think one thing when you play a good team like Heelan, good teams expose a team's weaknesses,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe now Kemper learned what they need to work on for the next.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think you talk to any football coach around the state, and you learned a lot about yourselves after the week 1 game.
Right.
Yeah, and then I think when you hear from this Kemper team, as you were saying, Brock Bating returning, and then they do have kind of a mismatch or a mix and match here on the receiver core. Got Braxton Vanami, kind of taller, lengthier guy, can go up and get those balls in the air, and then you got Carson Candy, kind of shorter, faster guy that can move around the field, maneuver really well. So they got kind of a mix of all that. But I think where it all started when you talked was that Bishop Heelan could kind of expose the holes in the offensive line, and that didn't give Brock Bating enough time to throw the ball out and get those weapons into the game.
And they were trying to move the pocket with him a little bit, and Steinkamp said that was kind of how they worked on going throughout the week, is that they knew that the Thomas kid played both ways, and he had like almost 20 tackles for loss last season. He was a factor on both ends that kind of wanted to run away from him, so they tried moving the pocket, most of the night, and it worked. The second half was a lot better than the first half. I mean, if you were there at the game, I think you saw the improvements throughout the game for Kemper offensively, and they're going to get there. I mean, they started 2 sophomores along the offensive line. You're missing Sean Whitrock right now, who started last year for you. So, throwing in some new faces and already missing some starters, there's going to be room for improvement. There's going to be those headaches to start right away.
I think it's at the same time, as good as Heelan was, I think Kemper probably found out tonight what their strengths are too, as well. Some of the things that they're going to be able to do well, and so I think that he can take that away from going into practice next week.
And the kids never quit. I mean, they were down the whole game. It was 19-0 at half. They were down 25-8, and they never quit. I mean, their last 2 drives, they moved it right down the field before they had to turn it over on 4th down, and then the same thing with their last drive. I mean, the kids never quit. And that's one thing I think Coach Steinkamp can take away from tonight's game.
Yeah, I don't think either coach is going to look at this game as a negative. Coach Steinkamp seeing what they could do positive. And then also the Bishop Heelan coach, he's going to come out of this saying, we come into Kemper's home field. We come out with a W, and it was a pretty big gap W. So I think it's not about what the teams didn't do, but about what the teams did do. And then obviously you're going to go to film early this week, and you're going to see what you didn't do. You fix that. And I still think that Kemper team is a pretty dangerous team as well as Bishop Heelan.
Yeah, I mean Kemper should win their district. I mean, I think coming in, they're probably the favorites to win their district. Is it going to be as dominant as it was last year? Because they cruised their district last year on the way to a state quarterfinal appearance. But I don't know if it'll be. It's tough to tell. It's week 1. I mean, that's why we're here.
Yeah, it's early.
It's just sitting here talking about it. It's early in the season. I mean, Kemper could have come out and dominate their next 8 games.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen. And if there's, I think we're really blessed with really good coaches here in the area that know how to, battle back from adversity like what they had tonight, and can get kids prepared and in a position to win, following a bad loss like tonight.
True.
Yeah, and then, a lot of people kind of throw that high expectation on Kemper as well after last year having a really good year, but so they see that as a negative when you come out and you lose to Bishop Heelan in a home opener. But when you really look deep into that game and we're listening to that game, I don't think it's that big of a negative just compared to what they had.
A lot of teams enter the football season with high expectations. I mean, it's a brand new season. Everybody's goal is to get to the Unidome, and sometimes realistically, it's not gonna happen. But Cincinnati Heelan has that mentality. Hey, we're in a championship game last year. Our mental capacity this year is dome or bust. We know we have a team that can get to the state championship game.
So we'll step away here for just a minute and hear from Coach Craig Roetter.
Since 1968, Mackey Motors has been serving Lake City and the surrounding communities with new and certified pre-owned vehicles. Mackey Motors is a full-service dealership providing oil changes in our Quick Lube Express bays, a service department with world-class trained technicians, a body shop and collision center with the latest equipment, a full vehicle detailing department, or come talk with one of our highly knowledgeable sales staff.
Recipient of the GM Mark of Excellence Award for 15 years running. Together, let's drive at Mackey Motors in Lake City, MackeyMotors.com.
It's the New Way Ford Scoreboard Show. I'm Nick Brinks with Carroll head coach Craig Roetter. They get a 34-21 victory over the Greene County Rams tonight. First drive of the game, you guys could not really have asked for a better start. You get about a 46-yard run from Taden Peterson on the first play from scrimmage. You take it all the way down the field. You score on a quarterback sneak from Carter Essick. You're up 7-0. Defense gets a stop on the first Greene County drive. Second drive for you guys. You guys are starting to march right down the field again. Everything's going well at that point, but they started getting too well. You had to make things interesting. You get the fumble, but then you answer with a pick six. So a really good start, but there were maybe a little cracks there in that first quarter, but a 14-0 lead at that point with the Essick touchdown, and the Ty Mulbauer pick six. Not too shabby for the youngster. Talk about the start of the game and how you felt like you guys came out of the gate. Because from up here, outside of the fumble, the first quarters seemed like things were going pretty well for you guys.
Yeah, we followed the game plan from the get-go. We're gonna ride behind the offensive line, and they had good momentum, and it was the same look that we thought we were gonna see coming in. So we hammered the ball down the field, and it was nice having kind of a 1-2 punch with Tatum and Reese. Reese was more so in the first half, was more in the pass game, but so being able to score on the first possession always kind of puts everybody at ease a little bit, maybe too much. But then at the pick six, now I will say Ty, he was a defensive back up till this year, so then those instincts must have kicked in there at the defensive end spot. But that was great seeing a kid that's climbed up, had a great summer, the weight room, and he worked his way up the depth chart and we knew he would play. I didn't know how, the second series I think he was in already, and then to end up with that's pretty awesome for him.
So you guys fumble it, but you get the pick six on the drive ensuing right after that. So, you can call it a wash. But then Greene County starts to find something. 3rd and long, and I think it was last year, there were some times where there were some 3rd and long situations and teams kind of got behind you guys. They had an 81-yard touchdown pass on a beautiful throw from their quarterback, Crew Connor, and then they get a big rushing touchdown later in that second quarter. So a 14-0 lead kind of evaporates pretty quickly. You guys went from feeling, okay, this might be an easy night, to, okay, we maybe got a little too confident. What were you guys talking about on the sideline after those couple big plays? Because at that point, I think 90% of their yards came on those 2 plays.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we said. As far as it's a game of momentum, and credit to Greene County on those plays, because they were big ones, and that's what they needed at the time. But yeah, I thought defensively, we were pretty assignment football up to that point, and the one we let somebody get behind us, and another one we had a blitz called, and one guy didn't go the right direction, and that's all it takes. Fortunately and unfortunately for us, but it was pretty calm actually at halftime, because we were comfortable. We knew it was just a couple big play mistakes, and it was essentially a 0-0 game starting the second half.
So in the second half, you do outscore them 20-7, 13-0 in the fourth quarter. We talked at halftime about the 2 turnovers that you guys had in the first half came in the passing game, an interception and a fumbled reception. And it just seemed like when things are going really well, it's on the ground. Well, in the second half, there was half the playbook that was just kind of thrown away. I don't think we saw a pass in the second half. Well, was the focus going into that second half, let's just get back to what really worked in the beginning of the game, or was it just a byproduct of you guys never had to trail? You either led or tied the whole way. What was the game plan coming out of that halftime break?
Well, you could ask my wife. I'm a little stubborn. So I said, we're going to run the football. And Coach McGill came down at halftime, told me that we had won 18 runs to 9 passes, and I told him I'd take care of that second half, and we didn't throw a ball. But a lot of it was confidence in the offensive line. Those guys have put in the time. They all had their experienced group, and so we were going to live or die by them, and they credit to them. Those guys stepped up, and should probably give them a shout out. With Jaden Flug, Noah Henners, Mox Oberding, Logan Mankin, and Gavin Holt. Those guys, they just did a heck of a job up front for us.
I know in our pregame show we talked about how experienced your offensive line is, almost all returning from last year. Even Jaden Flug got some starts a year ago, and if I'm not mistaken, at least one or a few of those guys might be making their 3rd season of starting on that offensive line. So you had that experience along with Essick coming back this year. And then in that second half, Peterson ran wild. He finishes for almost 200 yards. Zigman, he gets to about 70 yards, scores a couple touchdowns. Not passing the ball, there was no need. Every play just getting chunk yard after chunk yard. So you have to be pretty pleased with how well Peterson and Zigman and that line just meshed in that second half.
Yeah, they did exactly what we needed them to do, and that's what we'll need them to do moving forward to be successful. But there's a lot of stuff on film we're going to see, and even for as good as it looked there, especially in the fourth quarter, it's just there's details. It comes down to details and basics, and I think though, with a veteran group like that, we'll be able to correct those mistakes really quick. And it is kind of coach speak, but the biggest gain is between week 1, week 2, and so I'm kind of excited to. We have a Class 4A ranked team coming in, but I think we'll be up for the challenge.
Tigers and Tigers next week. You've got Gilbert. Best of luck next week. You talk about if you can improve week 1 to week 2, you have to be feeling pretty good. And that offensive line, they earned it tonight. Final takeaways from the game, and with Gilbert coming in next week. Peterson, he wasn't a little dinged up there. Was he just playing both sides, and he just needed a break there for a little bit in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, he was just cramping a little bit there, and and he had to throw Michael. I thought Michael Rowetter did a decent job there filling in for him at linebacker, but you just kind of pick your poison. Where do we need Taden? At the moment, but then too, Reese was able to go in the second half to get to take a load off him, and then Taden could play a little defense too. So, I think we'll have to kind of work that rotation out maybe a little bit more, kind of have a little more strategy involved as far as when to give them a break and whatnot. But it's also week 1, and it's kind of a humid night, but I think they'll be fine moving forward.
Well, it's always nice to get out of week 1 with a victory. 1-0 on the season. Coach, best of luck at home with Gilbert next week.
Yep, thanks Nick for the coverage, and go Tigers.
The right Tigers next week.
Yeah, that's right.
Craig Rowetter joining us here on the New Way Ford Scoreboard Show on Kick 106.7 and 1380 KCIM. 34-21. Carroll gets the victory tonight in Jefferson.
Feld Security of Carroll is the choice of homeowners and business professionals. They choose Feld Security because of the local and prompt service, 24-hour technician support, and the ability to control their security from their mobile device. That makes keeping your property safe even easier. A professional Feld representative can help you create a protection plan for your home or business. No matter what you're trying to protect, they've got you covered. Feld Security of Carroll proudly supports all our area high school athletes.
When you need a quick meal or one on the go, your Carroll Pizza Ranch has great deals for carryout and delivery. Order online and get 8 pizzas of country's best chicken with potato wedges for only $20. How about 2 large pizzas for $25? Or get 2 medium single-topping pizzas, cheesy ranch sticks, and a cactus bread for just $20. Check out these deals and more at pizzaranch.com today and order hot and fresh. Pizza Ranch, located off Highway 30 in Carroll, open 7 days a week.
Whoa, that's good.
For high school athletes, every practice,
Every game.
every rep matters. That's why Gatorade is here to keep you at your best. Packed with electrolytes, keeping you hydrated and energized so you can push harder, play longer, and recover faster. On the field, court, or track,
Let's go!
Gatorade gives you the fuel you need to perform at your peak.
No matter the sport, no matter the challenge.
Gatorade, fueling the future of sports, one high school athlete at a time.
Back again on the New Way Auto Scoreboard Show here, just to read off a little bit of scores for you, starting with Class 3A District 1. Carroll 34 over Greene County 21 there. Then we go over to MOC Floyd Valley defeating Unity Christian 22-18. Bishop Heelan toppling Kemper 32-14. And then moving over, got Western Christian defeating Bladen Hole Rock Valley 21-14. Sergeant Bluff Looting taking down Lamar's in overtime 21-15. And West Lyon defeating Sioux Center 35-7.
Okay, Class 2A, District 8, as Mason mentioned, Sioux City Heelan with a 32-14 victory over Kemper. Roland Story rolls over South Tama 47-0. Des Moines Christian shuts out Pella Christian 56-0. Storm Lake picks up a victory 38-23 over Sedale. Manson Northwest Webster slips past Southeast Valley 28-26.
And then we move into Class 1A District 2. ICAM Manning picking up a big one against ESAC 49-34. Emmitsburg barely getting by Central Lyon 20-19. Sioux Central Sioux Rapids defeating South O'Brien 32-8. Manson Northwest Webster defeating Southeast Valley 28-26. South Central Calhoun taking down Pocahontas area 35-12. And Clarion Goldfield Dows taking down Eagle Grove 48-8.
Okay, we're turning our attention to Class A District 7. As Mason mentioned again here, South Central Calhoun comes off with victory tonight, 35-12 over Pocahontas. ICAM Manning, as Mason mentioned, 49-34 over East Sac County. Southwest Valley, 13-0 over Red Oak. Earlham rolls over Central Decatur, 41-12. ACGC shuts out Ogden, 40-0. And Riverside comes up with a huge 68-0 victory over West Winona. Still looking for the score from Panorama and West Central Valley.
Then we move to 8-man District 1, Arwevo winning 34-0. Remsen St. Mary's taking down Harris Lake Park 51-6. Booyer Valley defeating Griswold in a shutout 49-0. Newell Fonda and West Bend Mallard a absolute, looks like a classic game here, 86-56. West Bend Mallard picking that one up. Then we move over GTRA defeating Siouxland Christian 56-6. Woodbine shutting out Glidden Ralston 58-0, and East Mills defeating West Harrison 64-26.
All right, 8-man District 9. Ottoman Wheelers come up with a victory tonight over Caminita 38-20. Woodbine shuts out Glidden Ralston 58-0. Bishop Garrigan 48, St. Edmunds 22. Colonesco shuts out Murray 48-0. Collins Maxwell also with a shutout 64-0 over GMG Garwin. And Coon Rapids Bear will open their season tomorrow night against Waco at Valley Stadium in Des Moines.
Something I kind of wanted to point out, I don't have too much information on the game, but this West Bend Mallard game, it almost looked like a basketball game when you look at the score, 86-56.
Yeah, you get some of those this time of year. So
yeah, that's a lopsided score. Usually Newell Fonda doesn't give up that many points, but and West Bend Mallard usually doesn't score. Running ball club, so it'd be interesting to see how that game really came out tonight. How both teams went after that.
Yeah, I didn't get much information on it, but when I looked at the score, just kind of in shock that 86 points on a football field is just crazy. But we will be right back again here. I have an interview with Coach McCullough and Coach Burks as we step away again.
Jeff Langman talking here tonight on the New Way Auto Group Scoreboard Show with ESAC head coach Eric McCullough. The Raiders fall at home in their season opener 49-34. Eric, I know disappointed in the loss, but last year, I hate to say it this way, struggled a little bit on the offense, but tonight you come out and put 5 touchdowns on the board. You take away those 2 early turnovers, and this is a 35-34 ball game pretty much the rest of the way. So I know frustrated with the loss, but had to been some good things that you took out of this one?
Oh, absolutely, Jeff. And that's what we talked to the kids afterwards. Disappointed loss, but overly proud of how they played.
Yep.
And like you said, we put 5 touchdowns on. I think our offense looks good, which you can tell we probably spent more time on that than I did our defense. But our guys up front, and you probably know better than I do, how much were we giving across the front?
A lot.
A lot. And for our guys to do their job up front and for us to run the ball as well we did against a very physical IKM traditional team, Manning team, very proud. Not very often I can say I'm probably going to sleep tonight when you lose by 15 but you score 34 points.
Right.
It's just some of the things early on, and we knew it was going to happen when you have Sam at quarterback. He's never played quarterback.
Right.
He still does a great job, but he throws 2 picks in the first 2 possessions. You didn't know what was going to happen then.
Right.
How we're going to respond, what we're going to do. But I thought we did what we needed to do. The guys up front, our linemen did a nice job. Grindle ran the ball well.
Yes.
Carson Schmidt had some nice plays, and then finally got the ball to Jack Gullett out there. We got some things we can use. We just have to kind of fine-tune them a little bit. And the thing on defense that kind of caught us, and we knew it was going to be an issue, is depth. We got some kids banged up, some kids hurt, and we had to throw some kids in that had to play some positions they haven't practiced yet.
Right.
And so now we're asking them to do some things that they've never even seen, and they're freshman, sophomore type kids, so the first time varsity field. So there's a lot of things going on here, but overall, I was really pleased at how the kids played, the heart they played with, and they do it every year.
You mentioned Sam Julin, first ever start at quarterback, had never played quarterback. 2 interceptions to start the game. One of them returned around 90-some yards for a touchdown, but bounced back after that. What kind of growth did you see from him already in game 1?
Well, we knew. Sam's just that kind of athlete. We knew that it wasn't going to get him down. He's just one of those kids, and he listens. He's coachable, and we've talked to him about things. Bad things are going to happen.
Yep.
They're going to happen. Forget about it. Let's start the next play. And that is exactly right. There for a little bit, we were talking on the headsets about what do we want to do, what do we want to attack, and we're talking to himself that he was 1 of 3 with 2 interceptions, but he came back and threw some really good balls.
Yep.
And that we had to, because they were loading the box. And we had to take some chances. Plus, we have some playmakers outside that we have to try and get the ball to. and I thought he just did a really nice job of doing that.
You guys able to answer almost every time. It looked like they were maybe going to pull away. They'd get up 20-some, and then all of a sudden you guys seem to answer all the time. That shows a little bit of heart with this team as well.
Well, it does, and that's you look at it too as we could kick a 46-yard field goal last year,
yes,
and we can't even kick a PAT this year. It's just the type of kids we have,
right.
and I'm not saying anything bad about them. We just got to find what works for us and what's going to work the rest of the year, because after that first one, we thought, oh no, we're going to chase these 2 or 3 points, all game. But we just came up with our 2-point package stuff and got a couple of those, and that's just something we're going to try and build on and, continue to do the strengths that our team has, and just every week build on them a little bit more.
Did you know what you had in Landon Grindle? I know you did, but I mean, a tough runner, always seems to fall forward, shifty. He does a lot of things well in the backfield.
That's one thing that we put a lot of pressure on Landon. Last year, he struggled a little bit. But I don't want to say it was just him. We didn't do a good job of blocking it either last year. And I thought tonight, and I told him that on the sideline, that's the way he could run. I mean, he was very shifty, but he was finally getting that explosive upfield and finding those holes and making things happen. And he was one of the ones that was probably the most emotional after the game. So those guys want to win, they want to compete, and that's what I love to see. We just have to learn that we kind of worry about it for, a day, and then we regroup for next week.
Coach, there was one possession there in the third. You guys get them to turn over on downs. You're down at that point 35-18. You end up turning it over on downs. I look at that possession, and if you guys could have got something on that possession, maybe you slide your way back into this game and really challenge them all the way down to the end.
Oh, absolutely, Jeff. I mean, but I think you can look at different situations all the way there.
Yes.
We don't give up that 95-yard pick 6,
right?
If we just give the ball up there and they have to try and drive the whole field, that changes things a little bit.
Yep.
But I totally get you. I mean, at every point in the game, I thought we had opportunities.
Yep.
The one that I didn't think helped is right after halftime, we let them drive down and score.
Easy.
And that was the one thing we talked about in the huddle after the game, and we talked at halftime. We made some adjustments defensively, which I thought were working. But again, I'm trying to tape some kids up that were banged up, and I probably wasn't out here quick enough. And it's just one of those things that happens in small school football. And I don't think we're really focused enough when we come out after halftime and we gave up that long drive. Now they adjusted and answered.
Right.
They did. But by that time, when you're, like you said, chasing that 3 score, that's tough to overcome in the second half.
Nice way to close it out, though, to drive late and,
absolutely.
And kind of a hurry-up offense to score.
Yeah, I don't even know. Was that less? Did we get it with less than a minute?
Or
Minute three. Yeah, for us to go down. But Jack Gullett made a great play down the sideline that set all that up. And the guys up front, our linemen weren't crazy when we started practicing some no-huddle type stuff and the signal stuff. But I think they found it was a good conditioning for them, and they could do it in the game. And I think that helped us in some certain situations.
Coach, what do you take away from this to use for next week?
Oh, I think there's a lot of things. Between just the fight, I would have to go back and look. I'm not even sure last time we scored 34 points.
Right.
And again, we lost, but we scored 34 points and 5 touchdowns. And I thought our offense executed very, very well. So I think there's some things to build on there, and there's some things that we can probably still do and try and use our skilled guys in some little more different situations, But defensively, walk away. We just got to make some adjustments and try and find something that's going to fit our kids. We kind of thought we had some, but we made adjustments, and I get our kids did. We played some sophomores and some freshmen in some pretty important positions when you talk about linebackers on defense and cornerbacks and safeties. And we know in certain situations there's kids that can play at that age. But a lot of times they grew up a ton in this game. And from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, they changed, incredibly. We finally were wrapping up and making tackles. And it's not like you don't practice it. We practice it, But when they get on that field, there's a lot of stuff going through their mind, through their head. And I think they're just not always focused. But as a game progressed, I thought they did a really good job, the linebackers, of making plays, making tackles. We just have to start out the game that way.
Well, Coach, it's always good to catch up with you. Appreciate everything up here tonight. Best of luck, and we'll talk forward to you again next week.
Jeff, I just really appreciate that you came up and you left Honnold at home because it just goes a lot smoother.
It does.
So I appreciate
at least
that.
to remember to turn the record on, right?
Exactly.
Head coach Eric McCullough again with the ESAC Raiders joining us here on the New Way Auto Group Scoreboard Show.
When you buy from a local business, like one of the New Way Auto Group dealerships, the money stays right here in the local community. Supporting local businesses helps our local economy, and that lets us help local organizations, schools, and giving back to our community. Good luck to all players from the New Way Auto Group dealerships with locations in Coon Rapids, Jefferson, and Pocahontas.
This is Todd Danner, and you're listening to the New Way Ford Auto Scoreboard Show tonight. With me right now is Audubon head coach Sean Burks, whose Wheeler Club opened tonight with a victory at Cam, 38-20, a big win for the Wheelers in the season opener. Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead and tell me about the game a little bit.
Yeah, it was the game. Got off to a pretty rough start, but we really settled in. Our opening drive forced them to punt. Then our opening drive, they forced us to punt and blocked it and took it to the house.
Oh.
They come back. We answer to go up 8-6. Then they score on one play. We miss an assignment. They break off an explosive play, and they go up 12-8. So it did not take an ideal start.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Carson Wessel got out with an injury at one point. Aaron Olson went out with an injury at one point. We ended up using 3 quarterbacks in the first half. We ended up having 4 total kids take snaps at quarterback tonight. 3 different centers, 3 different nose guards. I think we counted. We played 13 players on offense and 14 players on defense, and that was no JV reps or anything tonight.
Uh-huh.
So we battled through some adversity, but once we settled in, we got some of those guys back. We rotated a little bit. We ended the second quarter and started the third quarter with 3 straight touchdown drives to really kind of put it out of reach, and then score one late in the third quarter to get up 4 scores, and then they answered. A couple minutes left in the game, just to punch one in, made the score look a little bit tighter, but they were up 12-8 early, and then we got it as far as 38-12 late, ended up 38-20, but typical week one, guys cramping, guys going down, rotating some dudes in, but give credit to our guys, credit to our leadership. Water was a little rocky early on, no doubt, and we studied it, we figured some things out, made some adjustments, kids settled in, and so it's a really tough place to play against really good programs. I'm proud of the kids.
Yeah, I was going to say that. To Cam, they usually the past few years have had really good ball clubs, and so yeah, to like you said, to fight through some adversity like you did tonight, and to come away with that the victory. What were some of the things, some of the really good things that you saw from your club tonight?
Defensively, we gave up 20 points, and you break it down, those 3 scores. One was a punt block, so that's not on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
One was the last possession of the game when we rotated a few JV. And the game was a little bit out of reach. And the other score that they scored early in the first quarter was a one-play broken assignment. They did not move the ball consistently and score. And at the same time, we had 0 tackles for loss and 0 sacks. Just the epitome of bend but don't break.
Right.
Find a way to get off the field. We end up with 3 interceptions, 2 by Adam Obrick, 1 by Austin Christensen. Just finding times to get off the field with either forcing a turnover, forcing a punt, or forcing a failed 4th down. And typically they were staying ahead of the chain for the most part, but all of a sudden one broke in the tackle or one missed blocking assignment, one thing here or there could go either way. And our kids really settled in, limited the mistakes, and I thought defensively played really, really well. Offensively, Carson Wessel ended up running for almost 200 yards tonight, and then completed 6 of 10 passes for about 140 yards as well. So averaging over 20 yards per pass completion. Brody Weber caught 4 of them. Austin Christensen caught a bomb. Aaron Olson caught a big 3rd and 17 completion. 3 different guys catching balls from him, and then also being able to run the ball. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good example of how we could be maybe a little more explosive, a little more unpredictable until we really put teams in a bind.
Okay, I tell you what, you never know what you're going to get when you start a football season, weather-wise. But what a beautiful night for a football game.
It really was, compared to the week we've had.
Right. Yes.
I think we might have been a little too easy on the guys, but the weather kind of dictated it.
Mm-hmm.
We thought we were going to be fast and fresh, and we ended up having a ton of kids go down with cramps tonight. So we've got to figure out if we need to maybe ratchet up our conditioning a little bit, or maybe kids need to look at what they're doing hydration-wise, nutrition-wise. We'll talk Monday. We'll hopefully figure some things out, the tweaks, so it's not a thing going forward. But look at the forecast. Looks like it's going to feel like football weather here coming up.
Yeah.
Less worried about the wet globe and the heat indexes and all that jazz, and a little more focused on just playing football will be nice for me.
Well, I tell you what, you got week 2 coming up, and you're going to have your home opener against a good Colonesco team that tonight won 48-0 over Murray. You know anything about Colonesco at all?
I have not seen anything on film yet, obviously, because
right.
this is the first week we can share film.
Uh-huh.
But I know from last year, they're well coached. They've got a really dynamic kid, the Klatt kid. He played quarterback last year, and I'm sure he's playing quarterback again. He was also a kick returner, punt returner, kind of like Aaron Olson, just really shifty, really quick. Last year, their DNs and linebackers were really good, but they graduated most of them. So we'll see how they replace it. But I'm sure they lost us by a touchdown, and in that game, they dropped a wide open touchdown pass late in the game. They also allowed us to block a punt and return a kick for a touchdown. We were fortunate to get out of that, and we know that. We're going to have our full attention in the district opener.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time, and I look forward to chatting with you throughout the season, and good luck next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Outlaw Graphics is your local promotion and sign company. Outlaw can do it all, from vehicle graphics to promotional items and all the signage you need. Outlaw does it all, no matter how big or how small your order is. If you need thousands of items for your business, talk to Outlaw. Work with Outlaw's designers from start to finish. You're going to love the results. Call the Outlaw. Outlaw Graphics, 775-2599. Outlaw Graphics in Carroll.
Family owned and operated since 1948, Quant Auto Salvage is the area's best full-service scrap facility. Whether you're looking to sell scrap iron, vehicles, or batteries, or you need to locate that difficult-to-find part for your vehicle, they have what you need. And if it isn't in stock, they can locate it with their nationwide parts database. Quant Auto Salvage. They sell the best and recycle the rest.
Hey sports fans, this is Nate Luth from Next Generation Chiropractic. Call today to schedule your detailed spinal analysis and comprehensive chiropractic adjustment to keep you performing your best. Or enjoy a session in our new infrared sauna to facilitate recovery and give your immune system a boost. For any questions or to schedule, call Next Generation Chiropractic at 712-775-2295 or swing by 1121 Plaza Drive right next to the radio station.
Back again on the New Way Auto Scoreboard Show here, joined by Jeff Blankman. Jeff, you called the East Sac and IKM Manning game. What were your thoughts on that game?
Surprising that it was as high scoring as it was. I guess that's the only thing. I think both teams have got to be happy with what they saw offensively. I think both teams are going to look at it and go, okay, one we gave up 49, the other we gave up 34. And you're going to think that there's some things to fix defensively. Davis Rasmussen was really impressive for IKM Manning. The offensive line blocked well. Ben Langle had a really nice game on the ground. Ben Ramsey showed what he could do. 2 quick turnovers, the 2 interceptions early, kind of the difference in the game. You think about it, it was 14-0 late in the first quarter in favor of IKM Manning. The rest of the game, it's 35-34. So after they jumped up 14-0, it was literally a 35-34 game the rest of the way. Landon Grindle runs the ball really well for ESAC. I think he's going to have a nice year for them if they can get the pass game going a little bit with Jack Gullett and Carson Schmidt and stuff. I think they'll be all right. But I think, both coaches coming out, IKM Manning had some penalties, but I know they're very frustrated giving up the amount of points that they did and the yardage that they did. But, offensively, both teams looked really sharp. Defensively, there's some work to do for both clubs.
Yeah, and then we will cut away here for just a second to listen to Coach McCarville's take on that game.
Talking here on the New Way Auto Group Scoreboard Show right now with IKM Manning head football coach Corey McCarville. They pick up a 49-34 victory here tonight in Wall Lake against East Sac County to open up the season. Coach, offense looked good. Defense got that big touchdown return on the interception from Ashton Arenholtz there in the first half. You guys kind of dominated that first quarter, and then it was kind of an even game, which is kind of the traditional thing between these two teams the rest of the way out. But you guys pick up a win here to start the season.
Yeah, we ran the ball well. We ran the ball better than I thought we would. We had both backs I thought played well. I thought we had a number of offensive linemen play well. There's a lot to learn from the tape, though.
What did you see from the guys up front that was opening holes? Because Davis Rasmussen was doing a great job getting the edge, and they were sealing that for him in the first half. And then it looked like he went more to Langle there in the second half in the ground game.
Well, there's it's like chess. You got to go back and forth and see what they're doing. So, we're fortunate that we have 2 very capable backs. I thought Jay Starman did a nice job. I thought Zach Solberg at center did a nice job in his first start. I thought Ashton Arnold's played a great job at wing. So we had a lot of guys play well. But like I said, the tape will be glaring.
Coach, let's look a little bit at some of the drives here tonight for you guys. You get the ball off that interception, you score. I thought that was a beautiful pass from Ben to Davis, who made a nice catch there. Had to drop it right over the top of the defenders. But what a way to start offensively for you guys.
Yeah, Ben threw a nice ball, and he has a great chemistry with Davis. So that was a great opening touchdown for us.
Second possession for them. They march down the field. They get their running game going, but Ashton Arnholtz jumps the pass. I think it was about a 94, 95-yard return down the sideline for the touchdown. You get up 14-0. Were you guys thinking at that point maybe of, hey, let's separate ourselves here early?
Well, I just wanted to establish ourselves on defense because they had moved the ball much more freely than I liked.
Let's talk a little bit about that. They did. They ran the football and able to throw it some too. I know you were using some guys in some different positions, but what did you see defensively here tonight?
We didn't tackle well. Our linebacker plays got to improve. I thought the D-line actually did okay. I thought the secondary did okay. It needs to be a little bit better, but there's work to be done.
Coach, I thought there was a big possession there late in the first half. You guys up 21-12. You get the ball at your own 38. You're able to march it down the field and score to go up 28-12. Almost had a chance at another set of points there late in that first half after they didn't recover the kickoff. But how big do you think was that in the game to kind of keep you guys with the momentum going into halftime?
Well, it was great that we put together a really nice drive. We were able to do a variety of different things, and we were able to run the ball. I think we had a couple of good pass plays mixed in there as well. So. It was good to see.
Offensively in the second half, pretty consistent. You had the one turnover on downs. Other than that, was it just, hey, we're up, let's just chew clock? Because it looked like, especially late in the third quarter, started kind of paying attention to that, the game clock a little bit and taking your time.
Well, we had some younger guys in there too. We had some guys out of position, so we felt like we had to condense the playbook a little bit just from a personnel standpoint. It's first game of the season, so we got to keep some things at the vest, and really we got to let some guys get their feet under them was more than anything.
And I know that defense frustrating, but penalties probably tonight also frustrating a little bit.
We'll see how it is on tape. I mean, penalties obviously are frustrating, but we'll see what they look like on tape.
What are you taking away overall from this game beyond the fact that you're going to find things that you need to work on?
The kids competed. I'm glad to see how they competed. They rallied together. They had each other's back. We were able to do some things on offense. Some guys made some plays. I think we need a little bit more balance between run and pass, but I think we'll get there.
Well, Coach, as always, we appreciate you joining us here. Congrats on the victory, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Head coach Corey McCarville again with the ICAM Manning Wolves. They pick up a 49-34 victory here tonight over East Sac County. We'll be back with more of the New Way Auto Group Scoreboard Show coming up here on KCIM and Kick 106.7.
When you buy from a local business, like one of the New Way Auto Group dealerships, the money stays right here in the local community. Supporting local businesses helps our local economy, and that lets us help local organizations, schools, and giving back to our community. Good luck to all players from the New Way Auto Group dealerships with locations in Coon Rapids, Jefferson, and Pocahontas.
Earning college credit while in high school is a smart choice. Area high school students have several college class options available to them through the DMAC Carroll campus and Templeton Regional Center. Students, contact your high school counselor today to talk about how DMAC college credit can be part of your high school plan at no cost to you. DMAC, life's calling.
For more than 40 years, Culver's has brought you fresh, never frozen deliciousness. And since 2012, we have been proud to serve the Carroll community. From mouth-watering burgers to our one-of-a-kind custards, our goal at Culver's is simple. Satisfy your hunger with the highest quality products delivered to you with a smile. Whether you are a coach, player, or parent, Culver's is the perfect destination to build team spirit. Come celebrate 12 years in Carroll with us.
Culver's, welcome to Delicious.
When you buy from a local business, like one of the New Way Auto Group dealerships, the money stays right here in the local community. Supporting local businesses helps our local economy, and that lets us help local organizations, schools, and giving back to our community. Good luck to all players from the New Way Auto Group dealerships with locations in Coon Rapids, Jefferson, and Pocahontas.
Feld Security of Carroll is the choice of homeowners and business professionals. They choose Feld Security because of the local and prompt service, 24-hour technician support, and the ability to control their security from their mobile device. That makes keeping your property safe even easier. A professional Feld representative can help you create a protection plan for your home or business. No matter what you're trying to protect, they've got you covered. Feld Security of Carroll proudly supports all our area high school athletes.
Family owned and operated since 1948, Quant Auto Salvage is the area's best full-service scrap facility. Whether you're looking to sell scrap iron, vehicles, or batteries, or you need to locate that difficult-to-find part for your vehicle, they have what you need. And if it isn't in stock, they can locate it with their nationwide parts database. Quant Auto Salvage. They sell the best and recycle the rest.
Hey sports fans, this is Nate Luth from Next Generation Chiropractic. Call today to schedule your detailed spinal analysis and comprehensive chiropractic adjustment to keep you performing your best. Or enjoy a session in our new infrared sauna to facilitate recovery and give your immune system a boost. For any questions or to schedule, call Next Generation Chiropractic at 712-775-2295 or swing by 1121 Plaza Drive right next to the radio station.
Back again with the New Way Auto Scoreboard show here, looking at a lot of the scores that we got that are a lot of the final ones here. Class 3A District 1 going to be Carroll over Greene County 34-21. Bishop Heelan defeating Kemper 32-14. And we'll see Floyd Valley defeating Unity Christian 22-18. Western Christian edging out Boyden Hull Rock Valley 21-14. Sergeant Bluff Luton beating Lamar's in an overtime matchup 21-15. And West Lyon defeating Sioux Center 35-7.
Okay, Class 2A District 8, as Mason said, Bishop Heelan picks up a 32-14 victory over Kemper. Roland Story rolls 47-0 over South Tama. Des Moines Christian shuts out Pella Christian 56-0. Storm Lake picks up a 38-23 victory over Sadale. As Mason mentioned, Carroll comes away with a 34-21 victory over Greene County. And Manson Northwest Webster just clips Southeast Valley 28-26.
Then we move over to Class 1A District 2, where IKM Manning defeats East Sac 49-34. Then we move over Emmitsburg beating Central Lyon in a close one 20-19. Sioux Central Sioux Rapids defeating South O'Brien 32-8. And Southeast Valley dropping one to Manson Northwestern Webster 28-26. South Central Calhoun defeating Pocahontas area 35-12. And Clarion Goldfield Downs defeating Eagle Grove 48-8.
Okay, Class A District 7, as Mason mentioned, South Central Calhoun 35-12 over Pocahontas, and IKM Manning again 49-34 winners over East Sac County. Southwest Valley comes up with a 13-0 victory over Red Oak. Earlham rolls past Central Decatur 41-12. West Central Valley knocks off Panorama 28-21. ACGC, a very good football team, shuts out Ogden 40-0, and Riverside opens the season with a huge 68-0 victory over West Winona.
Then we move to the 8-man District 1 here. Arweva picking up a shutout 34-0 over Exira. Remsen St. Mary's getting a big one 51-6 over Harris Lake. Booyer Valley defeating Griswold 49-0. Newell Fonda and West Bend Mallard in a huge scoring game here. 86-56 West Bend Mallard defeating Newell Fonda. GTRA defeating Siouxland Christian 56-6. Woodbine shutting out Glidden Ralston 58-0, and East Mills defeating West Harrison 64-26.
And 8-man District 9, Audubon Wheelers 38-20 over Cam. Woodbine shuts out Glidden Ralston 58-0. Bishop Garrigan 48-22 over Fort Dodge St. Edmunds. Coanesco shuts out Murray 48-0. And Collins Maxwell picks up a big 64-0 victory over GMG Garwin. And Coon Rapids Baird will play Waco tomorrow at Valley Stadium in Des Moines.
As Todd said there, Coon Rapids going to play tomorrow, but a look ahead into next week's slate, Week 2, September 6th. We'll have Gilbert at Carroll. That one going to be on KCIM with Tom Hawcap. Kemper at Underwood. That one on KIKD with Nick. East Sac at OABCIG. Southwest Valley at South Central Calhoun. Panorama at IKM Manning. Glidden Ralston at Arweva. That one going to be on KKRL with Jeff Blankman. Colonesco at Audubon at 7 o'clock. And Baxter at Coon Rapids Baird at 7 o'clock as well. Pretty good week next week. Gilbert and Carroll should be one of those big ones, as well as Kemper at Underwood. But pretty good slate of games next week.
Yeah, going to learn a lot more. It'll be interesting to see the jump from week 1 to week 2 and stuff. Just finally getting a chance to really hear the scores and stuff here tonight. Been busy doing some stuff. That Central Lions score surprises me. That's traditionally really good team. Not that Emmitsburg's not been really good too, but Central Lions been pretty elite. So to see them lose that opener tonight, that's a little bit of a surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looking forward to, like I said, the Glen Ralston or Weaver game. So that's games always been very competitive the last few years, and so I'm looking for another very competitive game next Friday night.
Yep, and for all the Crusader fans out there, of course, tomorrow pregame coverage at around 2:30 with Nick Brinks. I'll do the color commentating. Kickoff at 3 o'clock against Waco Wayland. We'll also have the live video on our YouTube channel tomorrow. And I know Casey Miner's going down to shoot some video highlight stuff, so he'll get that posted up probably sometime early next week as well. So lots of things coming up with that game tomorrow.
Yeah, and then one that I'm looking at next week, Kemper at Underwood. We talked about it earlier where Kemper dropped the Heelan game last year as well as the Underwood game and then went on to roll through their district. So, we could see if it's a little bit of deja vu for Kemper if they lose to Underwood again, or if they go into Underwood and they kind of fix some of the stuff that they did against Heelan tonight and they come out with a W.
Yeah, and they're going to need that. I don't know if this year, I don't know if they want to start 0-2 this year and then try to turn things around. That district, just looking at some of those scores, Des Moines Christian rolls tonight against Pella Christian, who's usually decent, and also Roland Story, going to be pretty good potentially this year. So those teams look like they could be better than what they were a year ago.
A lot of good games for next week. We will sign off here, and we will see you guys next week at 10 o'clock.